Back in 30 seconds.
Bye, Matt.
Maybe we should just start talking.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome everyone. I'm Riley Chow here with Kevin Jacobsen, Joyce Eng, and Matt Noble. We are here to go through the winners of the 2019 Creative Arts Emmy Awards as they come up, because this ceremony is not broadcasted live like the ceremony next week will be, where they go through the bigger winners. This week we're going to be going through a lot of below the line categories, like in casting, editing, production design, that kind of thing, as well as hitting some of the above the line categories that the Academy doesn't want to produce or air next week, like children's program, or we're actually going to be starting off with short form series. So how's it going, Matt?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Are we live?
We
Yes,
are
we are
live.
live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Exciting, guys.
You're fashionably late.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I gave a little introduction, so maybe if you can pick up after that.
That's fantastic. Well, today it's an exciting day. We're going to be looking at the drama comedy series and limited series races and getting stuck into that. And what I love about today is that it's really, for the shows that I love, the comedy and drama and miniseries that I really enjoy, it's a way of celebrating the work that not the actors and the writers and directors, but all those people who do all the editing and music and lighting and stuff like that. And I've got a few little props with me here today as we go through the different sort of disciplines to help celebrate that work. But we'll get to that a little later.
Great. Yeah.
So short format. That's the first.
Yes.
It is
Short
indeed.
format series.
Yeah.
So we'll run through the
Starting off with
nominees.
the series. Yeah, I can read the nominees for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, we got an Emmy for Megan, second year in a row. Hack Into Broad City, It's Bruno! ! Special, and State of the Union.
What do we think here, guys?
I want State of the Union to win, and spare a thought for the Better Call Saul employee training series that had its nominations rescinded because they didn't meet the time requirement after it was already nominated, and Jonathan Banks too. So.
Yeah, what happened this year was the Emmys decided to crack down on the short form categories. In previous years, it was kind of a mix of actual short form series as well as some online tie-ins, and then also people who just realized that this was an easy way to get an Emmy nomination. So if they threw something up on YouTube, then they might have a really good chance, because some of the ballots only had maybe 19 contenders. So this year, the Academy put more rules in place. One of them was that each contender, their episodes have to be at least 2 minutes long, and then not more than 15. So the Better Call Saul website had a bunch of just fun, like 1 minute videos with Jonathan Banks and Giancarlo Esposito that they had previously entered and even won a couple years ago.
The one with Giancarlo, but he wasn't nominated that year.
Yeah, so this year they submitted them again without looking into whether they were covered under the new rules. So I'm actually predicting Broad City, just because it's the most recognizable title, and I think that voters proved that they're really not watching the nominees in this category, given that they checked off the Los Pollos Hermanos employee training a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I would say that
that
Special has a good shot, because I know that Special had a lot of buzz. It has 3 acting nominations, which is a good sign. Even though Ryan O'Connell didn't get in at first, that was the Jonathan Banks switcheroo thing that happened there.
And Special didn't get in at first here either.
Right. So you never know. It's the Peter Scolari way of getting a win.
This is Megan Amron's only chance to win an Emmy this year, because she wasn't nominated in actress.
This is true. Yeah.
So an Emmy for Megan. Yeah, it's a pretty and an Emmy for Megan was nominated last year, correct? And that wasn't able.
It was.
Yeah, and she was nominated too.
Yeah. So you never know with the Emmys where they're going to go. I'd go with the Broad City thing. Are we predict? Is there any Riley's too? Has anyone else got a different prediction there?
I would just say State of the Union because I love that one the most.
Yeah, and I'm going with Special.
Pike.
That one got really good reviews.
Yeah. It was like the perfect series because every episode was like 10 minutes long, so I just binged the whole thing in
the
one
perfect
sitting.
series. Wow, there you go.
What's right?
Oh, I was just remarking on how she said it's the perfect series.
It's 10 minutes. Every episode is 10 minutes long. Like in and out. There you go.
So we have a comment here from the cool guy is asking, is James Corden nominated? He is not, but last year he was nominated in both the acting category and the series category, and he won both for James Corden's Next James Corden, which was the Snapchat offshoot of the Late Late Show. So again, I don't think anybody was actually logging on to Snapchat, finding his show, watching it, and deeming it worthy of an Emmy before casting their ballot. I think they saw James Corden and they're like, yeah, I like him. I think that's where the Emmy voters were thinking.
Yeah,
and they were shocked it wasn't carpool karaoke.
Like, so after the short form category, we have two more awards. We've got the single camera picture editing and the for a drama series, and then picture editing for a comedy series. So editing is, the categories. Here's my prop for editing: scissors.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
They cut things. They cut all those scenes we love and stitch them together perfectly. We are looking at editing awards, drama and comedy. Who are the drama editing nominees? Riley.
So we've got 3 episodes of Game of Thrones, and we've got 1 episode of Killing Eve, 1 episode of Ozark, and 1 episode of The Handmaid's Tale. The Handmaid's Tale is competing here for its 2nd season finale. Most of the 2nd season contended last year. They had 3 episodes that were considered not part of last year's eligibility period. So voters are supposed to be considering the last few episodes of the season that aired a year ago and not the episodes that recently aired. This is a tricky one. I feel like Game of Thrones should be pretty far ahead of the rest of the category, but there are 3 Game of Thrones episodes.
And last year it had 3 too when it lost.
It did, yeah.
Mm.
But last year I felt like The Handmaid's Tale was a good alternative since we thought it was competitive for the drama series win. I'm not really sure what the alternative is here.
Well, to be fair, it is the 2nd most nominated drama series. It just doesn't have a drama series nomination. Yeah, I don't know what I would pick here either.
I think The Long Night is the most flashy, certainly, of the editing. So I would imagine that would be out front for any of the Game of Thrones ones. But, I think Handmaid's Tale, Killing Eve, Ozark all have certainly flashy editing for themselves. So it's really an open category.
It's a really interesting one. I think The Long Night. So how many Game of Thrones episodes do we have nominated? 2 or 3?
3.
It's half the category.
What are the 3 episodes? So we've got The Long Night, the battle, the Night King battle one. We've got
The Iron Throne and Winterfell.
The premiere as well.
Okay, the premiere and the series final. So yeah, of those 3, you'd think The Long Night is the one to go. There's big battle sequences and all sorts of stuff like that. But the other 2 series that are nominated, Killing Eve and Ozark, both drama series nominees. Handmaid's Tale ineligible to be a drama series nominees. I'm really interested today to see how well The Handmaid's Tale can do. It's knowledgeable in drama series. It's got so many nominations. It's got is it 13 nominations this year? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how many shows The Handmaid's Tale beats in terms of wins going along here.
Yeah. I think if it starts to beat some of these shows, it's even more clear that Game of Thrones is just going to win drama series as much as it isn't already.
Yeah, I don't think they really care that it's 3 episodes left over from last year. If they see it and they like it, or if they've seen the episode in question in whatever category it is, they'll vote for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm often not sure that the Emmys really know what year it is or what season they're voting for. Which is
They don't
They
know
could
what
be
to
thinking
do.
like they just watched season 3 this summer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then with streaming these days, people are catching up on Netflix or what have you at their own pace anyway.
Yes.
The Emmys need to do something about that. Is what I want to say about that.
Do we have who are the comedy editing nominees? Who made the cut?
Oh, wow. So we've got 2 episodes of Barry. We have 2 episodes of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And we've got 1 episode of Russian Doll and 1 episode of Fleabag.
So I think Russian Doll could be a big spoiler here. It won't have to contend with the vote splitting, and because of its sort of time jumps and sort of the storytelling method, I think it's sort of a bit showy as an editing piece.
Yeah, and it's the finale that they have nominated. I could see that. I think if Barry doesn't vote split, I think Russian Doll can win, but I think Barry will probably win.
Yeah. What are the Barry episodes that are nominated?
So we've got the Ronnie Lily episode, which is the big acclaimed one. It's nominated in many categories, and then also the season finale. I'm actually going with Fleabag. I think there will be a little bit of vote splitting, and I think Fleabag is going to have a good night. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel won last year, and since they reintroduced this category in 2003, the only show that has won twice is The Office.
Did the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel win last year for the pilot as well?
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's always it's sometimes these pilots do very well.
The short form winner is State of the Union.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Congrats,
There you
Joyce.
go.
I got one.
That is the new Peter Scolari then, where
Yeah.
it wasn't nominated, and then it was added. Now it's won. Good for them.
And then this is always so funny because we know since it was added later when the Better Call Saul web series was disqualified, it got the 6th most votes to get nominated, yet the most votes to win. So there you go. There was movement from the nomination process to the final voting.
That's good. So this one's made by Nick Hornby and Stephen Frears, I think.
Yeah, very acclaimed. But sad for Megan Amram once again going home, Emmy-less.
The biggest
Try again
indignity
next
would be
year.
if Patton Oswalt wins actor.
Oh, God. Yeah.
We've got a what was I going to say? While we're waiting for these editing awards, I'll give you an update on the big board and how we're going after yesterday, where things stand. So yesterday at the awards, Free Solo took out 7. It's not competing in any more awards, so that's where it will remain this year. We then got Love, Death, and Robots at 5, the animated series, which it went into the awards with 4 juried prizes, and it won another one last night. Then on 4 awards, you got Queer Eye. 3 awards, you got SNL, RuPaul, Age of Sail. Saturday Night Live has a chance to up its total today. It's eligible in several guest acting categories, so that might climb even higher. And then on 2 awards, you got the United Shades of America, Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, Last Week Tonight, Rent, Our Planet, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So that's where we stand going tonight. But we've got Game of Thrones nominated a lot, Handmaid's Tale nominated a lot, Barry and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel duking it out. We'll see if anyone can get up to that Free Solo territory on 7 wins tonight. So let's go. Can't wait to see how things pan out.
We have another winner, by the way.
Oh,
Just came in
fantastic.
For picture editing for a drama.
Drama series.
Yep, Game of Thrones for The Long Night.
Whoa. It could be, I don't know, a long
Shocking.
string. Game of Thrones opens at the count. Record number of nominations this year. Fantastic.
I don't know how many numbers you have on that board, but
We've got 13, which should be more than Game of Thrones has ever won before. We've sort of set the height at the record is sort of where we've got top of the board. One more than has ever been won. So if history is made, we'll have to figure something out. We'll be in uncharted territory.
And that includes next week as well.
Yes, that includes next week. Well, if Game of Thrones is at like 11 or 12 at the end of today, I have a week to sort of figure out. Because that's easy. You can sort of just go, well, I know it's eligible in 6 categories next week, so I just need to do 6 higher than whatever Game of Thrones finishes on tonight.
All right. So, well, thank you to Chris and Zach. They're backstage in the press room, and we're learning the winners from them. So that's our source.
Yes, we have people in the room.
Fleabag won comedy.
Yeah.
Fleabag won comedy. Did you hear it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, do we have the comedy?
Fleabag.
Joyce,
Yeah.
who won best comedy?
Yeah, comedy series. No, comedy editing.
Who's won it?
Fleabag.
Fleabag. And Fleabag. There you go. Maybe do we think vote splitting played a role for the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Barry?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, I didn't think Maisel was winning anyway, but I think that was the case for Barry.
Yes.
I think it certainly contributed. I mean,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones obviously overcame.
But that was like the obvious choice for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And I guess the big question is, as we go through Emmys this year, with Killing Eve created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Fleabag created by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, how much buzz does she have? How much wins are her shows going to get? Because she's got stuff competing on the comedy side and the drama side. Our next couple of awards, cinematography. My prop's just on the outside of the desk, so maybe for half-hour comedy, I don't know, Joyce, you might want to go through the nominees for that while I grab my prop.
The nominees are Ballers, Fleabag, Homecoming, Insecure, Russian Doll, and What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, so what's very interesting about the cinematography categories and the sound editing categories is that they still determine their nominees based on tapes. So everybody votes in the branch, and then that whittles it down to a group of semifinalists. And then they have a panel actually go through the submissions, and it's from there that we get the nominees. So we've got Ballers and What We Do in the Shadows nominated for both cinematography and sound editing, because they presumably would have made the top 10 or 12 or whatever. And then they were carried through on the strength of their work. And we don't see them in any other categories because they wouldn't have made the top 6 in popular vote anywhere else. So I think that's very interesting. I'm surprised that Barry is not nominated for cinematography this year.
Yeah.
They had a lot of showy sequences, and they were nominated last year, and they're just a popular show with tons of other nominations. So without Barry, I'm predicting Fleabag to win here. Although I would love to see Homecoming win, because their cinematographer, Todd Campbell, is the guy who did Mr. Robot and is maybe the most influential cinematographer of the decade.
And a thing to note with Homecoming, it's a drama series, and often we have comedy series competing in this category. So that's sort of the apple in the bag of oranges we've got there, and maybe it'll seem more serious and important sort of drama work.
Well, the winner is Russian Doll. So.
Whoa! Yeah. Oh man, I thought Russian Doll would win the last one, and I thought Fleabag would probably win this one. So they've done a switcheroo on me. Quickly before the cinematography for a 1 hour single camera series, who are the nominees there?
So we've got Game of Thrones for the series finale. We have 2 episodes of The Handmaid's Tale. We've got Hannah from Amazon. We have Man in the High Castle, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Ray Donovan. And the reason we have so many nominees in this category, but later we'll get to multi-camera cinematography, and there will only be 3, is that the cinematography branch spreads their nominees across the categories based on how many submissions are in each category. So there are far more 1 hour shows submitting than there are multi-camera shows, but they cap it at 7, and they have a minimum 3 nominees per category.
Yes.
It says that the next, it's actually supposed to be movie limited is the next one, not drama.
Oh.
Drama's later.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just looking at the list.
Yeah, so movie limited only has 4 nominees because of that proportion. So we have The Winner, Chernobyl, and Deadwood, and True Detective, and When They See Us.
Yeah.
There you go. And we got the winner for that one, do we?
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And Chernobyl won.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be one of the big showdowns today. Chernobyl versus When They See Us, and it looks like Chernobyl has taken the first blow in the cinematography race. And my prop for cinematography is a camera.
Oh wow! Okay, well let's zoom in on that.
Cinematography, all about the photography, the images that are captured on the screen, and there you go, cinematography. First 2 cinematography awards for the night. We're going to have a couple more coming a bit later. My apologies for getting the order of those around the wrong way. We've got an acting award coming up, short form actress.
Without Megan Ann Ram, unfortunately.
Yes, who is there? Who is
it's Alana Glazer from Hacking to Broad City, Jessica Hecht from Special, Abby Jacobsen from Hacking to Broad City, Poonam Patel from Special, and Rosamund Pike from State of the Union. And I think Rosamund's got it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good guess. It's a shame that the Broad City girls couldn't win. Broad City, a show that really has been sort of criminally sort of overlooked at the Emmys
as a series.
Yeah, for any big recognition. It's lovely that this web series they've done has been able to get them some Emmy nominations and attention and recognition from the Academy. But I think vote splitting is going to which, Alana or Abby, there's not one that's clearly better than the other.
Well, Critics' Choice did nominate Alana twice without Abby. So I would think that Alana would win if one of them is going to. Okay. But given the State of the Union picked up series earlier, Hacking to Broad City has been nominated a few times. This is the first year that they figured out that they could actually submit themselves as actresses in it as well.
Yes.
Someone told them, finally.
Yeah. They saw James Corden win and they thought, we can do that.
We can do that.
Exactly.
Very good. So there you go, sound editing. And then after, we're going to go into some of our sound categories. I don't have a great prop for sound, to be honest. No, I can't. We got sound categories coming later in the night too. We'll have for the later ones. I'll get a prop out.
There we go. I just muted Matt, and that can be our sound prop.
Hey.
All right, there we go, Matt. You can talk again.
Thank you. Is there a sound issue? Is that ruining the show?
That was our sound editing. So.
Oh,
yeah. I edited out your sound.
Good job, guys. Sure, the chat room is lighting up with that. So let's go. So, who are the sound editing nominees?
Well, it's limited series movie is the next one, so I'll just take this.
Yeah.
Catch-22, Chernobyl, Deadwood the Movie, True Detective, and When They See Us. And I think this is kind of a easy one for Chernobyl, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very,
I think
very
Chernobyl
sure.
has most of these texts on lock.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm expecting them to be like the night of to When They See Us as Big Little Lies, where the night of won a bunch of these tech categories.
Right.
Yeah, actually, technically, you can see Chernobyl in the box seat and in the driver's seat for these categories. I would have thought cinematography is one where When They See Us could have given it a run for its money, just because the style of photography is sort of distinct and unique, and you could go for that. So,
it might have.
Rosamund Pike has won short form actress.
There you go.
Thanks.
And what show is that for? That's for the
State of the Union.
So is that on 2 now?
It is.
Yes, it's on 2.
Yes, there we go. I don't have a thing for this one, but we can. That's why we've got chalk. State of Union. Oh man, that's messy. I might fix that up a bit later, but it's on there. 2 Emmys to State of the Union so far. Won the most tonight.
Rosamund Pike is an Emmy winner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. We've got sound mixing for a 1 hour series. Joyce, you like to run us through the nominees for that?
Sound mixing is for 1 hour.
Yep.
Better Call Saul for Talk, Game of Thrones for The Long Night, The Handmaid's Tale for Holly, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for Vote for Kennedy, and Ozark for The Badger.
And we have a sound editing winner, by the way.
Fantastic.
And it is, of course, Chernobyl.
Series.
Chernobyl, yes.
Chernobyl as well. So that is now up to 2. I'll whack it on the board in a minute.
It's gonna pass State of the Union soon.
Yes, yes. What do we think for the 1 hour sound mixing?
It's got to be Game of Thrones. They've won 4 times, and I think they've won like the last 6 Guild Awards.
Yeah.
This year
and this is a long night episode. So.
Yeah,
right. There's no vote splitting. The Game of Thrones looks like it will make it up to 2 wins so far as well. We've then got a big one.
I was going to say, got some casting categories coming up.
What's sorry?
Yeah, I was just going to say we got some casting categories coming up. It's going to be fun.
So casting drama, then casting comedy. Kevin, do you want to run us through the casting comedy, the casting drama nominees?
Absolutely. We got Game of Thrones, Killing Eve, Ozark, Pose, and Succession.
Succession deserves this.
Absolutely. As does Pose, I would say. So that's going to be interesting. I think Pose might have an edge, possibly, just for finding that kind of wealth of transgender talent. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, my problem with Pose as a contender here is that this award is voted on by casting directors and producers and directors. And we saw that once they started letting producers and directors vote for this award, it became a lot less about the best casting and just about what show they liked the most. So we saw Game of Thrones win for season 6 over Mr. Robot, with casting Rami Malek in his breakthrough performance. We saw Veep win twice very late in its run. Pose doesn't have a directing nomination, so there must be, it must not have the support of that branch, I think. So, yeah, I'm guessing Succession because we know the directors like Adam McKay. They like Succession, but it would not surprise me if Game of Thrones just took it because the competition is kind of weak.
And Game of Thrones won sound mixing.
There you go. Game of Thrones won sound mixing to Game of Thrones The Long Night. They didn't have to contend with vote splitting in that category too, which would have helped them. But will Game of Thrones win casting? What do you think, Joyce?
I don't think so. I don't think there's anything special about the casting this season, but it's won it before. Like Riley said, I think it was 3 years ago that it won, so it wouldn't shock me if they're just checking it because it's Game of Thrones, but I personally want Succession to win.
I find Succession suspiciously competitive in 4 of its 5 categories.
I know.
It could be the traffic in 4 out of 5 of its categories.
Yep.
Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah.
Well,
traffic. So a better example.
We'll see how it does. What are the casting for comedy nominees, Kevin?
We've got Barry, Fleabag, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Russian Doll, and Veep. Kind of the 5 big contenders there.
I think they've all got a crack at this.
Yeah.
This is pretty competitive.
I think it's between Fleabag and Barry.
I'd be tempted to say Fleabag, but Barry's got a good.
Yeah, whatever wins casting for comedy is what I'm going to predict for comedy series, most likely.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Russian Doll?
So a lot's on the line for your predictions in this category.
Well, whatever wins, I'm still keeping Fleabag as my comedy series prediction.
Okay.
Well,
it's already an Emmy winner, so yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with Fleabag here too, just because it's such a wealth of great British talent, and it's their first opportunity to reward them. Yeah.
I think Olivia Colman being in it sort of helps. I feel like that's a real, since she won the Oscar this year, is really going to help him out. So we're going to see. So after the casting awards, we've got casting in a movie limited series. So what are the nominees there?
We have Chernobyl, Escape at Dannemora, Fosse Verdon, Sharp Objects, and When They See Us, which is the 5 limited series nominees.
This is going to be When They See Us's big one.
Yeah, and if it isn't, then watch out. Because casting all those kids, if they can't give it to them for that, then not great.
Yeah. I think Chernobyl could win this, but I agree that this is the When They See Us, They See Us' big chance to get a win here.
Well, Game of Thrones won casting, so.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go.
Clearly, Game of Thrones is up to 3, and I'll just update the board with Game of Thrones and Chernobyl, and we can check out where things stand.
So Game of Thrones lost casting last year, and it still went on to win drama series.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're just checking it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the last season of Game of Thrones did not have a whole bunch of new characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like every year in Game of Thrones, they bring on new characters and actors, but not so much for the final season, which makes sense. They're trying to wrap things up. So, yeah. So I guess they probably got a lot of new extras for those battles and things like that.
That's casting. Oh, yeah.
Yes, let's try to justify this.
Oh, great! So after these casting awards, we've got some music categories.
Ooh.
There you go. Harmonica. We've got some music categories. We've got music supervision. Let's start with. Oh, do we have the casting in a comedy series winner?
It's Fleabag.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fleabag, which has won its 2nd award now, so that's up to 2. It's on a great run today. Doing really well.
all right, let me go ahead and update my predictions.
Switching, finally dumping Barry.
Yeah, join Joyce here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I better switch to Olivia Colman in supporting as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not convinced that Fleabag's winning comedy series yet, but I think I have Olivia Colman in my predictions for supporting actress. I think that category might be ripe for the picking.
And
for her.
I feel better about Olivia after Alex lost yesterday for voiceover.
Okay,
That's true. Yeah. I actually think Kristen Scott Thomas might have a shot in guest actress.
I have her in guest actress, so
Yeah,
I'm one of like 3 people.
I'm one of those 3. Because just based on episode, that's just such a
And
knockout.
she has the monologue.
Exactly. She has the speech.
Mm-hmm.
Speechifying.
well, let's look at the music supervision category. Riley, do you have the nominees for that?
I do not. Let me see here.
Okay, Joyce, do you have the nominees for that?
I'll just scroll down. Music supervision. The nominees are Better Call Saul, Fosse Verdon, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Quincy, and Russian Doll.
Okay.
This is a pretty new category. It just started 2 years ago. So
Yeah, and Maisel won last year. So
and Big Little Lies won the first year.
Yeah.
Which were both like pretty obvious winners, I feel like. And I feel
Right.
like I mean, I guess Fosse Verdon.
It is musical.
Yeah.
And they did win music direction yesterday.
Right.
So
and now Alex Lacamoire is an Oscar away from an EGOT.
And we have a casting winner for limited series, When They See Us.
Yeah, and When They See Us, that's their first win, first Emmy win. So now that's an Emmy-winning series. That's fantastic.
So they're not on the board yet.
Not on the board. 1 win away from making the board. So yeah. So what else do we have? We've got after music supervision, it'll be music for a movie or limited series. Who are the nominees there?
So they're Chernobyl, Escape at Dannemora, Good Omens, True Detective, and When They See Us. In this category, I'm actually predicting an upset. I think this one was in the prediction center. I'm going with Good Omens since it has that additional nomination in the theme category. Last year, we thought that Godless would be very obviously the winner since it were, at least very competitive for the win since it was much further along in the series race, but they ended up going with March of the Penguins 2. So the music branch can still surprise us. So I don't think that Chernobyl or When They See Us are guaranteed to win here.
I think I have Good Omens like 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, that's
but I have Chernobyl winning. I think. I'm pretty sure.
And I've got When They See Us. So this is wide open. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. My guts when they see us, but not sure what I predicted in the prediction center though. The after that, you've got music for a series. What are those nominees?
So we've got Barry, Game of Thrones, The Handmaid's Tale, House of Cards, and This Is Us. So this year they changed voting for this category. It is no longer decided by at-home judging with members of the branch viewing episodes and rating them accordingly. This year they opened it, so it's just like pretty much every other category where now it's just checking off your favorites on the ballot. So these nominees are all from either series nominees or they're from shows that have been nominated in the series category several times.
And Maisel has won music supervision again.
Wow.
There we go. That's Maisel's first win for the evening, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not on the board yet.
And is that another win for Amy Sherman-Palladino too?
It is.
Yeah. Good for her.
I'm not sure why she gets a music supervision credit.
Yeah.
She and Daniel both, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
She just wants to collect as many Emmys as she can.
I mean, after Gilmore Girls, it's just.
Now she needs to do it for Lauren Graham.
I know. Give her a guest arc.
Yeah.
But music composition, I imagine that's just easily Game of Thrones, right? Even since you're saying it's opened up to all voting, that's clearly the most recognizable theme. He goes around the country touring with that music. So, yeah.
And what's crazy is he was actually snubbed back in the first season for main title theme music. The show won for its main title design, but the iconic theme was not nominated.
He didn't even win until last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So if it got upset, what do we think does it? Handmaid's Tale?
I think it could be House of Cards. He's won a couple times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very showy work this year.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
And best music for a limited movie is Chernobyl.
Ooh.
There you go. Chernobyl up to 3 wins with Game of Thrones. So here's how we're looking on the board. We've got I'll just go through tonight's big winners. You got Game of Thrones on 3, Chernobyl on 3, Fleabag on 2, and State of the Union on 2. So there you go. Game of Thrones and Chernobyl making a great start to their Emmy campaign 2019. Yes. After music, we are moving on to
commercial.
Best commercial. And Netflix is actually in the mix here.
They are indeed. Have you guys seen the commercial nominees?
I've seen some of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called, actually, and I didn't actually seek out to watch them, so I may have seen them.
Okay.
I just don't know what they're called.
And I'm sure she's seen the commercial nominees.
So we've got A Great Day in Hollywood from Netflix, Behind the Mac from Apple, Dream Crazy from Nike, Point of View from Sandy Hook Promise, and Shot on iPhone XS, Don't Mess with Mother, also from Apple. So I think this one should be a very easy win for Nike with the Colin Kaepernick ad that they put together.
Yes, I have definitely seen that.
It's a good one.
I just don't know what they're called.
No, that'll be a great winner. Great commercial. Really broke through into the sort of public consciousness. Got a lot of discussion going. Sandy Hook could be a bit of a surprise. Right?
I actually watched that one. It's very powerful. It's very shocking. Yeah. So
I ranked that second.
Yeah. I feel like one of those will win best commercial. Mm-hmm. Interactive program.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want me to just run those down?
Yeah, Kevin, run us through the nominees.
Yeah. We got First Man VR, HQ Trivia, Warner Brothers Alive and Interactive Animation First, NASA Insights Mars Landing, Traveling While Black, and You versus Wild. I gotta imagine NASA wins this, right?
They won
yesterday.
Right. Emmy run. Yeah.
So this is the first one you mentioned, First Man. That actually is the VR offshoot of the movie, which failed at the Oscars earlier this year.
I feel like also like I feel like next year NASA are going to have a streaming service
from space.
They're gonna drop they're gonna drop space exploration. It's going to be the satellite. It's going to be just creating content for original content for a streaming service.
And music for series went to Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
We all expected.
Moving up to 4 wins. It's climbing up. Oh, I'll take the. Oh, it's blocking the queue from Queer Eye. There we go. Game of Thrones, 4 wins, and it's nominated in more categories too. So it might not stop there.
What if it does stop there?
I hope so.
4 Emmys, it's not bad.
Justice will be served.
It'll make everything a lot more interesting if it stops there.
Yeah.
Because it's looking like a long night of Game of Thrones wins. So
yes.
We can't see each other soon.
We have a question here. Was Succession nominated?
Succession nominated. Love Bertel's music. Was Succession nominated? I don't think it was.
They were not. They were only nominated
for main
in
title
the theme category.
Yeah,
which I find quite concerning.
Yeah, main title theme music. So that'll be the same composer, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So he's got a chance to win tonight. It's like the West Wing. W.G. Snuffy Walden never won Best Score, but he won for the main title theme music. Maybe Succession can do that themselves. Which will be main title theme music is the category after short form actor. So let's go through that nominee. Let's go through those nominees and see if Succession can win there.
All right, so we've got Castle Rock, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Good Omens, Our Planet, and Succession. So we have some big names here. For Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, we've got Rachel Bloom. She won a music award yesterday. We've got Thomas Newman. He seems to get in at the Oscars every year. He's doing Castle Rock. Nicholas Bertel, as we mentioned, for Succession. He's very prolific in film these days. And Stephen Price, who won an Oscar for Gravity, did Our Planet. So I'm going with Succession for that one.
Nicholas Bertel needs to win something.
Absolutely.
One of these days. Yeah. After all his film scores.
Yeah, I think Succession probably wins, but boy, I could see Our Planet pulling this out.
Yeah, I have that in second. That music was really good.
Yeah.
When Nike won commercial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream Crazy for Nike.
Nike won Best Costume, Best Commercial.
Yes.
Great job, Cap. Great job.
Yes, they were all clothed in Nike clothing. So
I am actually wearing Nike.
Whoa.
Matt, are you wearing shoes indoors?
There we go. There we go. Nike. It won Best Commercial. There you go. Sorry, So there we go. Just do it. What is short form actor? Oh, did we talk about short form actor? We skipped over that one.
We did not.
That's 18. That actually is coming before the main title theme music. I was getting just overexcited.
Well, if Chris O'Dowd wins that, it could be a sweep for City of the Union.
Yeah. Do we think he does it?
Yes.
Who are the nominees?
Probably.
The nominees are Ed Begley Jr. for Control Alt Delete, Jimmy Fallon for Beto Breaks the Internet, Ryan O'Connell for Special, Chris O'Dowd for State of the Union, and Patton Oswalt for an Emmy for Megan.
Going into tonight, I was predicting Jimmy Fallon after last year's winner, James Corden. But
I just don't think they like him anymore.
Yeah, they're kind of over Jimmy.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Wouldn't
mean,
it be
Patton
amazing
Oswalt they
if-
love, so.
Mhm.
Wouldn't it be
Patton Oswalt
amazing
won
if
writing.
Jimmy Fallon won though? Where so Jimmy Fallon won, where you got Jimmy Kimmel winning last night, James Corden winning last night, Jimmy Fallon winning tonight. We really got all the late night talk show hosts really cleaning up at the Emmys.
And they're all Jameses, so
Yeah.
it'll be the revenge for the Emmys getting rid of the variety host category.
Yeah. Can they? Oh yeah. Don't get me started on the variety host category.
And NASA won interactive program.
Was that for the same show that they won for yesterday?
No, it was a different interactive thing.
Okay, sorry, NASA, you do that board.
I think tonight's is for the moon landing or Mars landing.
The Mars landing.
And yesterday was something else.
Yesterday was for interactive demo 1 launch.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, maybe we should check it out. I mean, it's an Emmy-worthy interactive program. So
yeah. And
so
we're away just because it's hard to keep track of where all the categories are coming. We just had the winner for interactive media, interactive program. That was.
Yeah.
Did we do the interactive media category?
We did not.
Okay, boy, we're all over the place today. Don't worry, we're getting on top of things. Who are the nominees for interactive media scripted program? The winner for that should be coming pretty soon.
Yes, we've only got 3 nominees. We've got the interactive components from Black Mirror, Game of Thrones, and The Good Place. So The Good Place is nominated for the interactive fan experience. Game of Thrones is nominated for Fight for the Living, Beyond the Wall, Virtual Reality Experience. And Black Mirror is nominated for Bandersnatch, which I think should be pretty easily the winner here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was groundbreaking. It was like a different way of doing TV. I think Bandersnatch probably has this. And then we better...
It won.
Sorry?
It won.
It won. There we go.
Okay,
Congratulations, Bandersnatch and Black Mirror.
If Game of Thrones had won this, then you just know they're just checking off anything Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So
next is actually short form actor.
Right.
Next is the short form actor. We'll see if Jimmy Fallon can continue the success of the James late night talk show hosts at the Emmys this year. Or we'll see if State of the Union can get their 3rd win of the night. What about then we've got the main title theme music that we've already talked about. And then after that, we've got the main title design award. So that's when you watch the main title theme of the show, the stuff that you see while that's happening. What are the nominees there?
We've got Conversations with a Killer, Game of Thrones, Star Trek Discovery, True Detective, and Warrior. So Game of Thrones has won before. I think True Detective won a few years ago too.
One of them. Yep, they both won one. I did an article on this, and these are all great title sequences, but I will just say, since last year's winner was Counterpart, which had no other nominations and beat all these shows from like Best Series, basically they don't really care if it's a very popular series in this category. So that's why I think a show like Warrior could have a chance, because that is an epic main title sequence. But it'll probably just be Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and they also changed Game of Thrones' sequence.
They did,
so.
but...
Yeah, I just have Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no, I think Game of Thrones is probably a smart money. Though I'd like to see something else win, just because Game of Thrones have done a similar thing to what they've done like before. Like, great, it's a great opening theme, but especially since it's won before, it would be nice to see a completely original opening title sequence to win. And if you wonder how does Game of Thrones get in, well, what they like, because each season it takes place in the different locations of Westeros where the show's taking place, they changed the design.
This was the first time they submitted, though, because they redesigned it beyond that, I think.
Okay. It did have a slightly different feel to it this season, I felt.
Yeah, because they actually they went into the places and.
Yeah. So after that, after we've got these main title music things, we have a big category. Comedy guest actress. Yes, Tony, it's just 3 categories away. We better give that due diligence and talk about that a bit. Joyce, who are the nominees for best guest actress in a comedy series?
Guest actress. Hold on a second while I scroll up. They are Jane Lynch for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Sandra Oh for Saturday Night Live, Maya Rudolph for The Good Place, Kristen Scott Thomas for Fleabag, Fiona Shaw for Fleabag, and Emma Thompson for Saturday Night Live. And as discussed before, Kevin and I both have Kristen Scott Thomas.
Oh yeah, she has the episode. If they're watching them, not sure if it matters. Yep.
If I could edit my predictions, I would switch to her now.
Sorry, what do you think, Riley?
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, if I could edit my predictions, I would switch to her now. I have Maya Rudolph in the prediction center.
I mean, I could see her. I think I have her second. Like, I could see her winning out of goodwill, but I don't know if they like. It would have to be just out of goodwill because I don't think they like The Good Place that much, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have who have I predicted? I've predicted I predicted Jane Lynch for the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I would think Kristen Scott Thomas if I could change my predictions now. I think she's looking good. I
Get
think
on the hype train.
Chris O'Dowd won. They swept.
Clean sweep for State of the Union. Wow.
State of the Union gets the mini sweep. I love it. It's up to 3. So
check this out now. Sounds great.
Good 10-minute episode, man. It's perfect. Let me tell you.
Yeah. What do we think about Maya Rudolph for The Good Place? Could she upset here? It's like a very, it's a bit more of your classic comedy sort of role. She's a very respected comedic actress from Saturday Night Live and other things. Could she be the dark horse here?
Like, my thinking was that she was kind of in that Margot Martindale position where she's been around for a while and is respected, and The Good Place is maybe a show that Emmy voters have heard good things about, but are not necessarily all watching.
Broke through to Best Comedy Series this year, though.
It did, yeah. I think we heard from Chris that Kristen Scott Thomas is actually not at the Emmys tonight.
I didn't expect her to be.
Maya Rudolph and Jane Lynch are there.
There then.
So there we go. Yeah, we got sent from Chris earlier today a list of all the people he knew was there, didn't he? So he said the 14 guest star nominees that were planning to attend. This is from Chris Beesham, but planning doesn't mean they were necessarily cited. These are the ones that were confirmed. Laverne Cox, Ron Cephas-Jones, Luke Kirby, Jane Lynch, Peter McNichol, Michael McKeon, John Mulaney, Felisa Rashad, Maya Rudolph, Rufus Sewell, Fiona Shaw, Cicely Tyson, Carice Van Houten, and Bradley Whitford. So,
and then he said that he saw Glenn Turman and Cherry Jones there.
The main title theme music went to Succession.
Yay!
Succession. So there we go. Great job. Who in the chat room was really wanting him to win for score?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone in the
it was a great theme.
Yeah.
Ballistic. The champagne is popping. Succession has won Best Main Title Theme Music.
Excellent win.
Good job. Good job, Succession. You've done it. And Succession's first Emmy win. It's an Emmy-winning series now.
That's right.
7 minutes before the next episode starts, so it's perfect.
Oh,
That's right.
There we go. Have they changed their theme music for next season so they can win that again? They haven't pulled a Monk.
Or a Felicity.
One best theme music, then changed their theme song the next year and won it again. So, do anything else you want to say about the comedy guest actress race? There'll be a lot of interest. Is there any comments in the chat room about comedy guest actress? Anything that people want to throw out there about that award?
Yeah, Marcus has chimed in.
They love her. Gold Derby. So is that Marcus, the Gold Derby account? Oh, yes. Sorry, didn't read the end of the comment. Good job, Marcus. Yeah, Jane Lynch. I since I predicted her, I hope you're right. There we go.
Main title design, Game of Thrones.
Shocking.
Game of Thrones. Yep. So that. Whoa, boy. Okay, let's update the board. Love, Death, and Robots have now been equaled by Game of Thrones, which continues its run up. There you go, Game of Thrones 5. And it does seem like winning an award like that it is getting ticked off in a lot of places. The Academy is very excited about Game of Thrones.
Are they excited about Game of Thrones, or do they just really not care about any of the new dramas?
I think.
How can they not care? I don't know.
You really care about the comedies.
Yeah, you work in the industry. You're taking the time to vote for the Emmys. Surely, you're not like, well, I'm not that excited about
they're like they don't love anything more than they love Game of Thrones. So they're just kind of, because I think the problem is like so many shows just kind of checked out this season because they knew Game of Thrones was coming back, and the season turned out to be not so great. So. Yeah. It just, if the season was like perfect, like a Breaking Bad final season, I don't think you'd be talking about it like this.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, and like clearly, like they found shows they love on the comedy side, which is not the same on the drama side.
Yeah, and limited too.
Yeah.
So let's see how Game of Thrones continues to go. And it does look like it's going to have a very good night. And I guess the question looking into next week is, can it win some of those acting awards? And will everything go right for Game of Thrones except that drama series award? But unlikely at this stage. After the guest actress in a comedy, which is the next category I think that's going to be announced, we move on to some hairstyling categories. We're going to look at the hair sort of side of things. Let me just do a bit of hairstyling myself now to get in the mood, get ready for the hairstyling. Let's see how we can go there. There we go. Get the hairstyling. Get the hairstyling in play. Love it. Hairstyling categories, they're coming our way. Kevin, do you want to tell us who the hairstyling nominees are for the movie and limited series?
Absolutely. We've got Chernobyl, Deadwood the Movie, Fosse Verdon, Sharp Objects, and True Detective.
What do we think's got this, Joyce?
I can see Fosse Verdon winning, so I'll go with that.
Absolutely. It's a hairstyling showcase every week. Yeah.
It sounds like a good one to me. I'd agree with that. Riley, do you have any thoughts?
He does not.
Fantastic. Well, then we have the hairstyling for something else, for a single camera series. Who are the nominees there, Kevin?
We've got American Horror Story Apocalypse, Game of Thrones, Glow, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Pose.
Does Game of Thrones win this? I think poses a threat. I think Marvelous Mrs. Maisel also poses a threat as a sort of period piece type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Game of Thrones has never won this, so I wouldn't expect them.
This
was trying to think of like the hair of the season. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting because Mad Men is famously won this for its first 4 seasons when it won drama series, even when it didn't win any other categories. That was the bellwether for Mad Men. But it's interesting that Game of Thrones has not found that same success in hairstyling. So it'll be very interesting.
Comedy guest actress winner.
And it is
Jane Lynch.
Whoa! Jane Lynch has done it. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Is that Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Is that its first or second win for the evening?
That is the second.
Second, because it won music supervision.
Right.
Music supervision. So Marvelous Mrs. Maisel marvelously makes the board. fantastic, and it could continue that run with a hairstyling win.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it'll take care. I'm shocked about Jane Lynch.
That sounds like sarcasm. Yeah.
I feel like she would have won last year
if it weren't for Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've been talking a bit about Game of Thrones and it's sort of standing and stuff. Kissed by Fireworms, I think, has a good comment in the chat room. Whereas there's some of the best people in the industry worked on Game of Thrones and did a phenomenal job. Game of Thrones should deserve to win nearly everything except writing and maybe drama series. It's not just check boxes. I think that's actually a pretty fair comment. I'm someone who I didn't love the final season of Game of Thrones. And I thought there were some really great episodes and moments and performances in it. But it's not like I was thinking, oh boy, the editing sucks this year. Oh, the music sucks. Like across the technical board, like I'd be voting for Game of Thrones in a lot of the categories tonight.
No, I don't think there's any. I don't think any or most people don't have any issues with their technical awards. I don't think it deserved casting. I'll say that, but I mean, these their wins, the other wins tonight. I don't really have any issue with.
Yeah.
And hairstyling for movie limited went to Fosse Verdon.
There we go. Fosse Verdon, which is a second win because they won one last night. So I'll go put Mrs. Maisel on the board, and we'll get Mrs. Maisel on the board, and we'll get Fosse Verdon moved up. After the hairstyling categories, we move to some stunt awards, all that stunt coordination and stuff. I don't have a prop, but I could I don't know, like
you can fall out your chair.
Goes down, so it's sort of like a stunt, I guess. Like oh no, now I'm stuck down. Anyway, would someone like to read the stunt coordination for a comedy and variety series for us?
Yeah, we've got Barry, Cobra Kai, Glow, Russian Doll, and The Tick. And then over in the drama/limited/movie category, we have The Blacklist, Blind Spot, Game of Thrones, SWAT, and SEAL Team.
I think Glow would just take it again for comedy and variety.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones for the other one.
Yeah. Maybe Barry for comedy, just for some of the Ronnie Lilly stuff, I would imagine was pretty difficult. But yeah, Glow is a showcase every
week. Every episode.
Yeah. Not so much season 3, but that's for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, very much so. I think Glow versus Barry in the comedy race, and which would be good because Glow did very much underperform with the nominations this year. Missed out on comedy series, missed out on Alison Brie again. So,
and hairstyling for single camera went to Maisel.
There we go. Masters Maisel moves up to
Game of Thrones. Wow.
So now I've got these hairstyling categories out of the way. I can put my hair back to normal, and we'll sort out my chair in a second. So I'm a bit low at the moment. Okay, so after those stunt coordinations, we go back to cinematography, and cinematography single camera 1 hour cinematography nominees. Who are they, Joyce?
Cinematography 1 hour are Game of Thrones, A Handmaid's Tale, Game of Thrones for the Iron Throne, Handmaid's Tale for Holly, Handmaid's Tale for The Word, Hannah for Forrest, The Man in the High Castle for Jean Noel, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel for Simone, and Ray Donovan for Staten Island Part 1. And Game of Thrones has never won this before, so
that's insane.
This is its last chance.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones has never won it before.
Right.
Yeah. And this is where The Long Night was not nominated.
Rightfully.
Yeah. I guess because of all that controversy over the being too dark, missed out, and the season final, The Iron Throne. Is the final cinematography, is that worthy? It's got the burning down of the throne. It's got there's a great.
It is
opening
worthy.
Daenerys addressing the whole soldiers is beautifully sort of shot.
Yeah, it has like movie-like cinematography, so I think that's pretty much in the bag.
Yeah. So Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is on 3 wins now, I believe. Correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Very good. And do we have any? Was there anything else to update on the board? Fleabag's still on 2. How many's Game of Thrones won so far?
You have the board.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think that's 5. Yeah, I think that's right.
It's only lost 2 so far. It lost Interactive and Hair.
Game of Thrones on 5, Chernobyl and The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on 3, along with Saturday Night Live, Fleabag on 2, as we track this year's Emmy nominees. Winners. Yeah. So after we have the stunt coordination and the cinematography. Oh, what about the cinematography for a multi-camera series? Do you have those for us, Kevin?
Yep, just 3. We got The Ranch, Rel, and Will and Grace.
Will and Grace won last year, so
feels like an easy
but The
winner
Ranch
there.
won 2 years ago, so.
Oh, there we go.
We also have
And Glow won
Stunt.
stunt coordination.
Yep.
Who won?
Glow.
Glow. Yes, very good.
Excellent.
A deserved win for Glow. The gorgeous ladies of wrestling have taken it out.
Can you guys see and hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you sound okay. You've gone off a few times, Riley, but I'm assuming that's all at your own discretion.
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah.
Jason Nolette in the chat room says Barry's not having a good night. And yes, Barry yet to get a win on the board after such a great year of nominations. And we'll see how it goes as some more categories come along. But at the moment, Barry yet to get a win. Maybe it's the categories Barry's sort of got a better chance that are a bit later in the night. The Mrs. Maisel ones are earlier on. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think it'll do better with like sound editing or mixing, one of those for like the half-hour shows,
Yeah, I'm thinking sound could be where Barry makes a bang.
Yep.
Hopefully.
Hey, enjoying the evening, Joyce? Is there anything you've been sort of taken by or?
I don't think so. I'm very sad Kristen Scott Thomas did not win.
Fair enough.
But I'm very happy State of the Union won all 3.
Yeah. After and stunt coordination for a drama, I believe, has been announced.
Oh, yeah. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones has taken that one out.
Mm-hmm.
So great job. Do we have Game of Thrones confirmed? Or it's not coming up on my Twitter feed from.
Yeah, Zach is posting in the thread.
Is Zach
earlier.
there? Zach on the.
Or
Is
one
Zach
of
there
them.
tonight? I think he is actually.
Maybe.
Yeah, so okay. Zach's in the Microsoft. That's fine.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Game of Thrones. Up to 6. Threatening. Free Solo. Last night of 7. Game of Thrones sitting on 6. Fantastic work. And now the stunt categories are done. I'll just put my chair back up. Here we go. Okay, we're back. After those cinematography categories, we have a drama guest actor. So another big award and a pretty competitive race, actually. Do you want to take us through the nominees there, Joyce?
We have Michael Angarano for This Is Us, Ron Cephas-Jones for This Is Us, Michael McKean for Better Call Saul, Kamal Nanjiani for The Twilight Zone, Glenn Turman for How to Get Away with Murder, and Bradley Whitford for The Handmaid's Tale.
Kevin, what do you think?
I'm going with Michael McKean here. Yeah.
I would love for him to win.
Yeah. I just think there's a lot of respect for him. Apparently not enough to get him nominations over the first few years, but still, I think...
This is the easier category.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would love Michael
I just want Better Call Saul to become an Emmy-winning show.
It is.
I think that would be amazing. I think Better Call Saul being such a strong show. But Michael McKean, that was such an incredible performance, I thought, on Better Call Saul. A likable character, but just what he brought to that. And it was just, I think, criminal that he didn't get a nomination for season 2 or 3 of Better Call Saul for supporting actor. I think it's a short performance, but it's a strong one. I think it's not the flashiest, but it's very nuanced, and I'd love to see Michael McKean take this out. Little will make me happier. I think him, Ray Seahorn, and Bob Odenkirk should all be Emmy winners for Better Call Saul.
Ray Seahorn was so robbed this year.
Oh, it's that is the acting snub I'm most upset about. At the Emmys, I think she, I don't know. It might be me being foolish. I think she'll break through at some point, maybe for the final season of the show or something like that.
I think it's just going to get harder for her.
It's interesting. We've got all these Game of Thrones actresses moving out, but we'll have all these Handmaid's Tale actresses moving back in.
And Big Little Lies.
and The Crown as well is going to have. It's tough. I hope Ray can do it one year. It's definitely. They're not making it easy on her, all these great roles for supporting women in television. I think they should all be Emmy winners, and Michael McKean can do it here. That being said, I'm predicting Bradley Whitford.
Yeah, that's where the smart money is.
It's a flashy performance. It's in a show that has a lot of I'm not saying Better Call Saul doesn't. Better Call Saul has been one of the most consistent performers in terms of nominations at the Emmys for the past 3 or 4 years. But Handmaid's Tale, past drama series winner. It's done well in acting awards. Although I believe no male actor has won.
Right.
Yeah, it's the reverse This Is Us, where they haven't had a female, but they can both end it tonight.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So fantastic.
Oh my God! Wow. We have a cinematography winner, not Game of Thrones, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Maisel has done it.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's good because it was getting a bit crowded on 3.
Wow.
So it's never gonna win cinematography.
Yeah. This is turning into quite a night for Maisel here.
Maisel, it does very well in these awards, and I think, showing that period pieces can do really well here in at the Emmys. Maisel, we think is on 4 wins. Riley, we've lost him. I'm sure he'll be back soon. He's restarting the computer and modem. We've lost our pilot, but we're still here covering the Primetime Emmy Awards. After so we've talked a bit about Bradley Whitford. We've talked about Michael McKean. Can anyone else cause waves in that guest actor?
I mean, Ron Cephas-Jones won last year.
Yeah.
Glenn Turman is the past Emmy winner, even though the show isn't necessarily one of the
biggest. This is the most nominations Murder has ever gotten in a single year.
Yeah, and it's 5th season. Incredible. Yeah.
And cinematography for multi-camera went to The Ranch again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there you go, The Ranch thing out. Like the Ranch, I haven't seen much of The Ranch, but I feel like its setting would lend itself a bit more to stunty sort of things happening.
Yeah,
they're out on a farm. It's hard to get. Yeah, they're on a ranch. There's horses and things. So it's not a huge surprise. And this is a category that Brooklyn Nine-Nine used to do quite well in, I believe. That's where it's got its Emmy wins. After the drama guest actor race, where we could see the big Whitford McKeon showdown, 2 great performances. Or it's so tricky with the Emmys because they sometimes just throw complete left fields, especially in these guest acting categories. That's often where we have jaws on the floor or computer screens being broken and things like that. So after that, we move to the makeup categories, single camera makeup and makeup for a movie limited series. Great comment from the cool guy in the chat room. The Ranch has more Emmys than The Wire.
I mean, facts are facts.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. Single camera makeup. Non-prosthetic. Do you have those nominees for us, Kevin?
Sure. We've got American Horror Story Apocalypse, Game of Thrones, Glow, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Pose.
Yeah.
Another tough one.
Yes. What do you think, Joyce?
I can see Pose taking it.
Yeah.
It's hard because Westworld won the last 2 years. Game of Thrones has won it before, so I guess that could win too again. But I don't know, since like clearly they're also checking off Maisel for these things tonight. It could be Maisel.
Feeling pretty good about Maisel right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just checking from Chris. So I'm meant to be bringing the new panelists a little after 6. So we might wait for that guest actor in a drama award to announce. Then I'll call in our other panel. So while we're still without Riley, we might keep us in and things. Yes. So what? And the other makeup category we're going to be having a look at is makeup non-prosthetic for a movie or limited series. So, Kevin, do you have those nominees in front of you?
Yes. We've got Chernobyl, Deadwood the Movie, Fosse Verdon, Sharp Objects, and True Detective. Which I imagine True Detective might have a shot there, but I'm going with
the
Fosse
old
Verdon.
makeup.
Right.
I can see Chernobyl winning too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah. So that's a pretty tough rate. I've got for the makeup categories, I've got a makeup kit here. Let's see.
Is that yours?
I'll be honest. I'm not used to makeup, so I don't really know how this all works. I don't know. Does that do anything? Does this do anything? I don't know.
Do you know what you're even using?
What? Sorry?
Do you know what you're even using?
I have no idea. What does it say? It says,
Bradley Whitford won Handmaid's Tale. Bradley Whitford won for Handmaid's Tale.
Bradley Whitford. Oh, geez. Wow.
Does Bradley Whitford win?
Yeah. Yep. So now he's the first person to win drama and comedy guest actor.
Wow. Drama and comedy guest actor.
Because he won for Transparent a couple years ago.
And drama supporting actor for The West Wing, 3 Tony winner. And Bradley Whitford spoke to us about this. So congratulations to Bradley. And it's a really good performance. But as a Better Call Saul fan, it is very disappointing that Michael McKean couldn't get it done. So we've got those makeup categories of what we're awaiting right now as I apply some of whatever this is. No idea. There's a lot of stuff here. There's Marcus is 2 for 2 and guest. I think I might be 2, Marcus. I'm pretty sure I went with Whitford. So
you don't even remember.
We've got, I don't know, what's this do? A pen? Do you do your eyebrows with this or something? Like you do like a
little bit of everything. Yeah.
Man, I hope this washes off easily. I hope this washes off okay. As we are eagerly anticipating the makeup awards at Gold Derby, we've got single camera makeup and makeup movie limited. Very good. So we've got the makeup going here. And Kevin, how have you found this evening so far?
I have to say, Yeah. Fleabag and Maisel both doing very well and better than I even thought they would. You know, Maisel getting a guest acting as well as beating Game of Thrones in a category, I think is probably a good indication that it is more in this comedy series race than we maybe thought. I know people had it kind of as one of the front runners, but it's doing extremely well with a lot of these branches. So I would definitely not count it out at this point. And we're hoping for some Barry wins here to get on the board, you know.
Barry can get like editing stuff.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Like sound editing for
sound editing, sound mixing. It's going to be, and it's next week is going to be, I think, a big player in that guest supporting and lead actor race. So it's got a good chance of taking those out. So funny enough, where it doesn't have to compete with The Marvels versus Maisel, or supporting actor it does with Tony Shalhoub, and he's got a
I'm predicting to win for sure.
Yeah.
So so we go from I've gone to the wrong category, the wrong email. So we go from the Makeup Awards to costumes. Oh, great, costumes.
Love costumes.
While we're talking about them, I'll get some costuming on while we wait for the Makeup Awards to be announced. Still waiting for those Makeup Awards. Any comments in the chat? And what I might do now that Bradley Whitford has been announced as the winner, invite Tom and Charlie, I believe, to come in and join us. Yes, so let's see how we go. Get Charlie and Tom, you can enter the room now. Please, Joyce and Kevin, stay here, though, because...
We'll leave you all alone.
Yeah, don't leave me here.
With your makeup.
Trying to manage everything, guys. You can't leave me here. So, Bradley Whitford won for Handmaid's Tale. He'll be taking on the Emmys next year because that role's been expanded.
Supporting.
So he'll be in supporting. See if he can return to the category where he first found Emmy glory.
19 years later.
19 years later, back for more. So there you go. Let's talk about some of the costume categories. And number 31, we have, or category 31 for today, we have costumes, period costumes. Do you have the nominations there, Joyce?
Outstanding period costumes. We have Chernobyl, Fosse Verdon, Glow, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Pose. So I felt that Pose was strong here, but I don't know. Now I'm just like, is Maisel just going to take all of these?
I'd go with Maisel. Like, it'd be who I'd predict here.
I mean, it lost last year to The Crown.
Yeah.
We have a winner for single camera makeup, and that is Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Moving on up.
Yeah.
And that's now on 7. With Free Solo.
Poor Free Solo. If it only got into exceptional documentary filmmaking.
And look, we got Riley back with us.
Hey.
Yeah, and Tom is here waiting. Let's see what happens if I add him.
Oh, hey.
Oh, look at that. Now we're squares.
Oh.
Matt,
How we
what's
going,
the
buddy?
matter with you? What's on your face?
It's makeup. We're doing the makeup categories at the moment.
Let him express himself.
I know. I can't wait for the runway for the costumes.
Yeah, well, we're moving up to we're discussing costumes right now, so I might actually clean the makeup off, and if I can find a cloth or something, and get onto the costumes. So we've got period costumes. Period costumes we've just talked about. We think Marvelous Mrs. Maisel might be the go. And do we have Charlie? Do you have Charlie yet, Riley? We're still waiting on Charlie.
No.
Okay, fantastic. So we're getting a bit creative. Kevin, I might ask you to leave. That's okay.
That is totally
all
fine.
right?
Yes.
Take over.
All right.
And
bye, Kevin.
Bye.
It's been fun.
Bye, Kevin. Thank you so much for your thoughts and analysis. Any last words for us?
Last word is we have another winner.
Announce it, Kevin.
Is Makeup Limited Series Fosse Verdon.
Fosse Verdon has done it, and that's moved up to 2 wins now. Fosse Verdon with his win last night, so I'll whack that on the board.
Yeah. So I'll leave you with
that.
that.
I know the board
Goodbye.
quite ready.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. Tom, let's talk about costumes, contemporary costumes. Does anyone have the nominees in front of them?
I do.
Fantastic. Tom, read out the nominees and give us your thoughts.
All right. Costume, contemporary. We've got Blackish, Escaped Dannemora, Grace and Frankie, Russian Doll, Schitt's Creek, and Sharp Objects. A real apples and oranges kind of category here. In terms of costuming, I'm wondering whether the dramas might do a little bit better. Although I know Grace and Frankie is a wedding episode, so that did have some nice costumes in it. I am going to probably lean towards Escape to Dannemora, but this is a real crapshoot.
Yes, it's tough race. Riley, can you give us some clarity?
Yeah, I thought it would have been less of a crapshoot if Killing Eve had been nominated. I feel like the costumes are kind of showy in that one. I'll go with Russian Doll, and I feel more confident in that prediction after it picked up that cinematography win earlier in the night.
Yeah,
I would love it if Schitt's Creek won this. And I also love it if Michelle Cole won for Blackish for the Purple Rain episode, because she's been nominated a bunch of times back, dating back to her In Living Color days. So that'd be cool. But yeah, so I'm rooting for Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, I'd love it to win something.
Yeah, and this is the only category I think Schitt's Creek is nominated for today.
3 are acting and series in lead.
So Schitt's Creek could win its first Emmy right in a matter of minutes.
And period costumes went to Maisel.
Oh. So there we go, Maisel. Moving up to that one, costumes at period costumes. So we're the awards are catching up with us a bit. Let's talk about the sci-fi category. Oh, yeah, Maisel on 5. Is it on 5? Have I lost track of the board? Are we? Is this correct? Is this? Oh, Fosse Verdon. I need to whack up. So apparently Charlie needs the link. Riley, did you see that?
Yeah, it was in the same email that you all got. So
check your emails, Charlie. So anyway, we've got Fosse Verdon has 3 wins. Okay. I'll whack that up in a minute. Thank you, Sean Horace. So then with the sci-fi, have we done the sci-fi nominees yet?
Not yet.
Okay, let's talk about them because that'll be coming to us hard and fast.
Yeah, coming through. The nominees for fantasy sci-fi costumes are A Series of Unfortunate Events, American Horror Story Apocalypse, Game of Thrones, Good Omens, and The Handmaid's Tale.
Very good. There we go. And just as I get my costumes on, what do we think wins this? Like,
I mean, Game of Thrones won last year.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, big winner. So I think Game of Thrones probably is the most likely to win this.
Yeah. This is actually a race where we could have multiple winners. The costume categories used to be divided between series and limited series. A few years ago, they switched over to genre, contemporary or period, that kind of thing. And when they made that switch, they opened up the opportunity for multiple winners because the way that they vote in these races is instead of choosing one, they're going through each of the nominees and saying, yes, worthy, or no, not worthy of a win.
Harsh.
And if any nominee gets 90% yeses, then they are awarded. And if none of them get 90%, then they just go with whatever got the most. So since we haven't had multiple winners in the 5 years now of this new system, everybody's probably being pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And contemporary costumes went to Russian Doll.
Russian Doll.
Very good.
Which is a second win. So that makes the board. I am obviously at the moment sporting my period, contemporary, and fantasy costume. A bit of a hybrid. Next year, we want this web show to be eligible in all the Emmy categories.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Oh, look who it is. It's Charlie.
Really?
Welcome to the show.
Wow, it's so interesting, Matt. When I saw when I last saw you on the YouTube channel, you looked like a patient that went into a cosmetic surgeon and just had the drawings all over you. And now you look like some hipster begging for money in Central Park. That could be a compliment or an insult, but whichever works for you is good by me.
They all work for me. So
buckle up. This is going to be a wild hour.
Yeah, it could be a wild hour. So we've just been talking about the costumes award. Joyce, thank you so much for joining us, offering your thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts or feelings about tonight that you'd like to?
I don't. Still sad about Kristen Scott Thomas. There.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I guess Maisel is going to win a whole bunch the rest of the night as well.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I had made at the beginning of this evening, I was thinking to myself that I was going to have to switch my comedy series prediction from Maisel to Fleabag, but now I'm very secure in picking Maisel for comedy.
I mean, to be fair, Fleabag was not nominated in a lot of these categories.
That's true, but there were some that I thought that. I think there were some that I thought it was going to win against Maisel, but its strength here is really showing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have fun.
Thank you, Joyce.
Bye.
Analysis. Okay. So costumes, and do we have the fantasy costume winner yet?
Not yet, as far as I can tell.
Not yet on the Twitter. Yes, we have an Emmy winner for the fantasy or sci-fi costume, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones has taken it out, moving up to 8 on the board.
This show might actually be. There might be something to this show.
Yeah. But everyone is now rushing into our prediction center to put Game of Thrones as the. So there we go. Game of Thrones above Free Solo. 8 awards, over 7 with its big costumes win. Here we go. So fantastic. Winning in costumes. Game of Thrones, poor Free Solo, yeah. Well, I wouldn't feel too sorry for Free Solo. 7 Emmy wins and an Oscar for Best Documentary Feature is a pretty good haul. If I made a film and it won 7 Emmys and an Oscar, I'd be pretty pleased.
Yeah.
Costumes now, because
Got
editing.
Yep, single camera picture editing for a limited series or movie. And do you want me to read the nominees?
I'd love you to, Charlie.
Okay. Nominees are there are 2 episodes of Chernobyl. First one is Open Wide, O Earth, and the second one is Please Remain Calm. That's already won a couple tonight. We have Deadwood the Movie, Fosse Verdon, Sharp Objects, and True Detective. Very weird that When They See Us didn't get into this category.
Yeah. I mean, I don't find it too surprising since When They See Us came out at the very end of eligibility and they submitted 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
But it is strange that Escape at Dannemora missed after winning the Ace Eddie Award. I feel like I don't know what would win this category except Chernobyl, but I don't know how you could differentiate between those 2 episodes.
Which one?
Yeah. Like True Detective, Deadwood, Sharp Objects. These feel like shows that maybe were widely seen, but there's not a lot of passion behind them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like obviously Chernobyl and When They See Us were incredible like shows and some of the best miniseries I've seen in a long time. For me, a bit sad Sharp Objects has sort of been overshadowed by them because I thought that was a fantastic sort of crime miniseries. I really loved that. And when I first saw that, I was like, this is going to make such a huge dent at the Emmys. And then Escape from Dannemora came out and you're like, oh, now it's a tough sort of 2-horse race. And then Chernobyl and When They See Us came out, they were both so good and so well received that it sort of left Sharp Objects as an afterthought.
I thought the editing of Sharp Objects too was maybe its best aspect.
Yeah, I'd agree. I loved it. I thought Amy Adams, Patricia Clarkson, and Eliza Shinn were so good.
We have a winner. It is for editing for limited is Chernobyl, and it's for the episode Please Remain Calm.
All right.
Okay, so Chernobyl moves up on our Emmy board. And I'll just quickly, before we show it, I'll update the Russian Doll and the Foss Verdon wins that I was a bit behind on.
After that,
so nice to see the chalkboards back.
Yeah,
I love the chalkboard. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah, it's I like it too. I guess I.
After that, we have multi-camera picture editing for a comedy series. Nominees there are The Big Bang Theory, The Conners, Mom, One Day at a Time, and Will and Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Big Bang Theory won this award so many years, and then last year it lost to Will and Grace. I have to think that The Big Bang Theory will be able to get one final win out of this category for its series finale. Although I was surprised by how The Big Bang Theory kind of underperformed in the nominations.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was expecting a little more. Yeah.
So on the board, we've got Game of Thrones on 8, Marvel's Mrs. Maisel on 5, Chernobyl on 4, Foss Verdon on 3, Russian Doll on 2, and Fleabag on 2. Am I right with this? Someone just asked what Chernobyl's on. Am I right? It's 4, correct?
And we do have a winner also.
Yes.
In multi-camera. And there are going to be some people that are going to be happy about this. One Day at a Time picks up the picture editing for multi-camera.
Oh, that's cool.
I know that our friend Tony is going to be very happy about that. He loves that show.
Yeah.
That was recently canceled from Netflix, but picked up by the Pop TV network. So congratulations to them on that.
Yeah, so the TV Academy are very nostalgic about the end of Game of Thrones, but not The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
It is curious.
It'll be interesting to see how nostalgic they are for Veep, which hasn't won an award yet, though. I'm not sure if it may have not been nominated in too many of the categories we've had so far, if any.
I know it was casting, wasn't it?
It was in casting. I said because Veep was a lot better received the final season of that than the final season of Game of Thrones.
Sure was.
Yeah, Game of Thrones has done much better with the nominations.
But it seemed like Veep's departure was almost an afterthought, and it really didn't get the play that Game of Thrones did, which is a shame.
It was weird because it felt like the lead up to it was all very it felt like the reaction from a lot of people was very ho-hum until the finale, and the finale itself was very well received.
Yes,
that's fair.
So Veep, which ended incredibly well with a wonderful finale, could be an Emmy afterthought this year, or it could get some big, like Julia is still front runner to win lead actress.
Riley, remind me, did Veep get nominated for its eligible production design category?
It did, yeah. Production design is weird. This year there are only 4 nominees, and I did try to get...
Have we gotten to that one yet, or not?
No.
Okay, because that's for the finale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking the thing that always stood out to me about that finale is the presidential library where they have the funeral, and that's exquisitely designed and even has a good joke in there. If you look at the thing that says the Selena Meyer Presidential Library, the quote of hers they use below it is someone should do something about this, which is one of my absolute favorite jokes they've ever done on the show.
So it'll be interesting if Veep can do it in its final season. which has sort of become a bit of an afterthought, not in the front row of conversations, even though Veeps won Best Comedy Series the last 3 years it was eligible and had a very well-received final.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have a children's program.
Love it.
The nominees there are Carmen Sandiego. That's a blast from the past. A Series of Unfortunate Events, Song of Parkland, Star Wars Resistance, and When You Wish Upon a Pickle, a Sesame Street special.
Voters in this category in the past have rewarded Linda Ellerby news specials and things like that. So I suspect that Song of Parkland might have a leg up.
Song of Parkland,
sure. Already. But, Sesame Street, I think, has won 8 times. And this is another category where they're just considering each nominee on its own merits. However, unlike the other categories where you have to get 90% approval, in this category, you only need 2/3 approval. So if we see only one winner, as we normally do, it's because the Emmy voters are extra sassy.
Well, they are extra sassy because we got a winner, and it, in fact, is When You Wish Upon a Pickle, a Sesame Street special.
There you go. Big win for I've got a prop for this, actually.
Oh, dear.
Which now is another win. It's not a win for PBS anymore. It's for HBO.
Yeah. No, it's another win for HBO. Sesame Street, When You Wish Upon a Pickle. Monty's happy. Monty's
oh, your buddy's there.
He's out. He's loving it. He's a big Sesame Street fan. And yeah, he's getting into it. Yeah, thanks, Monty. Okay, so there we go. Big win for Sesame Street.
This show has everything.
Oh yeah, we got all it. We got all it.
Yeah, that episode even has Amanda Seyfried in it as well. So,
did Charlie did Sesame Street go? Rick and Morty finally won the Emmy with the pickle episode. This is our key to Emmy success.
Pickles. It's all about pickles.
Yeah.
At this point, I would say, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. The Beyonce special next year is going to be Pickle Jar or something.
Beyonce presents Pickle Jar. I love it.
Doesn't she have like a documentary airing tonight? I feel like I saw that.
Okay, so I love how Gold Derby, Marcus, I think this is Marcus, apologies if someone else is doing it, does a great job of posting the winners at Gold Derby on Twitter. And he posts a GIF with all the winners of the show, and they're great. And with Sesame Street, he's like, not posting a thing with Sesame Street, he's just posting a picture of a dance.
It's the GIF equivalent of screw it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
We've got a big one coming up.
Yep. Well, we do have a winner in that as well.
Okay, can you announce the nominees?
Yes.
Charlie, and then I'll...
Yes. The category is special visual effects. The nominees are Game of Thrones for the episode The Bells, The Man in the High Castle for Jarnull, The Orville for Identity Part 2, Star Trek Discovery for Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, and the Umbrella Academy for The White Violin. And, no surprise there, this one went to Game of Thrones.
Whoa!
Ta-da!
At a party popper. So, doesn't look as good on the screen as the Game of Thrones visual effects, but Game of Thrones will be moving up. 9 wins for Game of Thrones at the moment. Look at that. Sitting up pretty on 9. So high above Free Solo. Oh, and look, we've got
there's the pickle.
Marcus on the gifts. Love it.
I'm trying to think of a pun with the word dill, but I can't think of any right now. So,
yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, Zach and Chris are tweeting. Oh, thanks, Mark. So, great job, Zach and Chris, on the gifts.
Yeah.
Good.
Marcus is after Marcus's GIF effort yesterday. After Marcus's GIF effort yesterday, he needs some well-deserved rest.
Yes, he does.
And that is not sarcasm. I am absolutely serious about that.
Yeah.
I know. I can't even tell sometimes.
Yes. So we get the awards are getting away from us. We've then got supporting visual effects.
Yep. Nominees there are Catch 22 for episode 4, Chernobyl for 123:45, Deadwood the movie, Escape at Dannemora for episode 6, and Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan for the pilot episode.
Now, what's contentious about this category is that Jack Ryan actually has more visual effects than The Man in the High Castle, and The Man in the High Castle petitioned the Academy to move down to the supporting category since they don't have, dragons or magic really, but the Academy denied them.
And we do have a winner here, and it seems like this is the other one that's really staking its ground tonight. It is the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Here we go, Maisel.
Yeah, no, it's Chernobyl. It's Chernobyl. It's Chernobyl. Sorry to screw with you like that, Matt.
Maisel wasn't even nominated.
It's Moonlight. Yes.
You got me, Charlie. You got me, Charlie. Okay. Chernobyl up to 5 with the marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Love, Death, Robot for the visual effects. And yeah, fantastic.
And now we are into some of the sound awards. I think we got, let me see, I think we got 2 sound editing awards here.
Give us the nominees.
First one is sound editing for a comedy or drama half-hour series and animation. We have the nominees Ballers for This Is Not Our World, Barry for Ronnie Lilly, Love, Death, and Robots for The Secret War, Russian Doll for The Way Out, and What We Do in the Shadows for Werewolf Feud.
Tough, competitive lineup.
Yeah.
I really hope it's Barry. I really think it was robbed of that stunt coordination category because Ronnie Lilly is such an insanely crafted episode, and part of that is the sounds that everyone makes, and it's all just put together so in such a precise way that it's just. I feel like this has to be one of its wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think so. I mean, we don't have a lot of data for this category. The category only started last year, and the winner was Atlanta over the Barry episode that was titled Loud, Fast, and Keep Going.
Yeah. That's fair. And to celebrate sound and visual effects combined, I have Party Poppers, which make a sound and look sort of visually cool. There you go.
Came right at me!
That one off. Well, one more to go.
Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. No budget spared for the Gold Derby Creative Arts web coverage. This is the only place online where we're announcing the winners live, where you can see it's not televised, no network. It's on this web show. You are the first to hear the winners because we've got men in the Microsoft Theatre sending us message. We've got a panel of experts all breaking down the winners as they come. How exciting is this? And there is another sound category after that one, that Barry won, or the one that Barry might win, and that's sound editing for 1 hour comedy or drama.
Yes, the nominees there are Better Call Saul for Talk, Game of Thrones for The Long Night, Gotham for Legend of the Dark Knight, I Am Bane, Star Trek Discovery for Such Sweet Sorrow Part 2, and Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan for the pilot.
Game of Thrones. Is that what we're looking at, Tom?
I mean, Game of Thrones has only won this category twice. They seem to move on from it a while ago, but I don't know what the alternative is this year. The shows that have beaten it the last few years are now out of contention, and those were Black Sails and Stranger Things.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Charles, do you have any thoughts?
I think that'll most likely be an easy Game of Thrones. And we do have a winner in half-hour sound editing, and indeed it is Barry. So Barry gets its first win of the night.
It's on the rise. It's got its first win. let's see how it goes moving forward now.
Also, we have a question from the chat room here. They're asking why they see the winners first, and there is a 30-second delay between when we talk and when you can actually see it on YouTube.
Yes. So
I used to the first year that I watched this. I wasn't on the broadcast, but I was watching it. This is the first year that I was working for Gold Derby, and I was watching this, and I didn't know that there was the delay. So I was putting in the comments section, "Hey, they announced the winner. Why aren't you getting this? Hello."
Yeah. There's a slight delay, but
Everybody slow down.
The winners online anywhere in the world. So less of a delay than it airing in a week's time on basic cable. What's coming next? We don't want to get
production design.
Yep, Chow, what you were very excited for, the production design category. Yep. Categories are going to be next. Contemporary half hour.
Yes, production design for a narrative half hour. Nominees are Barry for Ronnie Lilly, Russian Doll for Nothing in This World is Easy, Veep for the finale, Veep, and Will and Grace for Jack's Big Gay Wedding. And which one is Nothing in This World is Easy for Russian Doll?
That's the pilot.
It's the pilot?
Mm-hmm.
I could see that possibly taking it. I think of all of these, I think probably the one that's least likely to win is Barry.
Really?
Well, that one is, there's really just, most of them are exterior shots for that episode because it's the Ronnie Lilly episode.
Yeah.
Because so much of that takes place outside. There's the inside of the man's house and there's the inside of the store.
Yeah.
So I think that might be something. Russian Doll, of course, has that beautiful apartment and bathroom.
I think Russian Doll will probably win this. That would be my guess.
Production design in that is much more noticeable because you keep going back to it and back to it and back to it.
Mm-hmm. And then you notice the differences, which are specific highlights of the script. But I would also watch out for Veep here. I mean that did require to stage the rooms of a convention center where the party convention was being held, and the and as I said before, the presidential library. So those could be very. Those could be very, and also Will and Grace is a wedding episode, so you're going to have a wedding venue all decorated out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Russian Doll wins. I'd love to see Veep win. I think that would be deserving too. Production design, obviously dealing with sets, whether it's spaceships or convention centers or anything like that. It's all about set design, the production design, props, sets, all sorts of stuff like that. So there you go. And we have a winner for sound editing, 1 hour, Game of Thrones. So it's now up to 10 cracked double digits. There's one more production design award, and that is for a period or fantasy series where Game of Thrones can keep on going on this run.
This is going to be an interesting showdown because I think we have the all of the big winners so far this evening are nominated in this category. We have Chernobyl, Fosse Verdon, Game of Thrones for the Bells, The Man in the High Castle, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and A Series of Unfortunate Events.
Okay.
This category, I think we're actually going to get 2 winners. That's my crazy prediction. This is one of those categories where you can have multiple winners. We actually did have multiple winners a few years ago when both Boardwalk Empire and The Nick won. I think Game of Thrones will win because obviously, but I also think that A Series of Unfortunate Events is going to pull this one out because I feel like there's a lot of respect for Beau Welch within the industry. He's the production designer of that, 4-time Oscar nominee. This is the final season. He's also a director of the show, got a DGA nomination for it. So we'll see.
It could also be used to describe this category. Chernobyl, the Bells in Game of Thrones. Like, it really is a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
What if we had 3? What if Chernobyl, Maisel, and Game of Thrones all tied here?
That'd be fantastic, especially for Chernobyl because when you look at everything that they had to do to recreate that, I mean, just recreating the Chernobyl nuclear power plant alone is unbelievable. And then you also look at like the interiors of the offices of the departments and how they had to make sure that they had the proper, props of communism around there in terms of portraits and artwork and different props throughout the set. I would love for Chernobyl to win.
And production design for a contemporary or half-hour show has gone to Russian Doll. Russian Doll.
Good prediction, Matt.
That makes sense.
It's winning ways. So,
what was it on?
Game
3?
of Thrones is up to 10, and Russian Doll is joining very crowded field here at 3. I'll just put the covering up. Oh no! I dropped Russian Doll. Here we go. There it is, Russian Doll.
Which is very appropriate for that show.
Yeah. Russian Doll sitting at 3 awards now. And that other production award, I imagine these are being announced together, so I imagine the other production design winner is coming very soon.
Yep. And after that, we have guest actor in a comedy series.
Oh, let's start talking about that, Charles.
All right, so we have Luke Kirby for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Rufus Sewell for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Adam Sandler, John Mulaney, Matt Damon, and Robert De Niro each for Saturday Night Live, and Veep with Peter McNichol.
I love Peter McNichol in this role. I think he's great, but I do think John Mulaney is going to win.
I watch out for Adam Sandler. I think he could very well. Take this. Sandler and Mulaney had probably the best received episodes of SNL this season, so I would keep my eye out for that. But also, I mean, hey, one of the two guys from Maisel could pull it off.
They could, and they're both good. I'm thinking that
Luke Kirby, especially, I think is in that episode. And I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I just think that. Kirby, especially because when you watch it, you can actually go on YouTube and find the original Lenny Bruce performance from the Steve Allen Show, and there's also this very haunting undercurrent to his performance because what eventually happens to Lenny Bruce and how his life eventually turned out, and it's tragic, and he really communicates that really well with his performance. So
he really is good in this, and it would be a very worthy winner. I suspect that sentiment might come in here to favor Adam Sandler. He's been knocked down and he's still standing. So maybe this will be the time that he can actually get up there.
I just feel like his Netflix special was nominated last night.
Yeah, I just feel like John Mulaney can do no wrong at the moment. I feel like he's the very cool comic. He upset last year in a category. I've just got a feeling, but I could be wrong. The case you make for Adam Sandler is a compelling one. Peter McNichol is also very good.
And Rufus Sewell also delivers a pretty great performance in Maisel, I thought, as the drunk artist.
And we do have a winner for production design, so I was dead wrong. It was actually Chernobyl.
Just that?
Chernobyl.
Just Chernobyl, yeah.
Just Chernobyl.
All right.
So there you go.
So that's finally a loss for Game of Thrones, I would say, that it was expected to win.
Yeah.
Especially with that episode. With that episode, you think about, because you have all the people in King's Landing hiding in all those, corridors and everything, and that takes a lot to design that.
I wonder if it's hard to differentiate what's the production design and what's the visual effects. Like, that's something I thought while watching it. Like, I wonder which of this is stuff they've designed, or what's being designed by the.
Because it's a set, would it still count, or does it have to be a physical, actually constructed thing?
I'm not sure.
No, that's all taken into account. But I just thought that since the scale of it was so massive, even if a significant portion of it was visual effects.
Yeah. No, Chernobyl, great win. And Chernobyl taking out Mrs. Maisel and taking out Game of Thrones, which are really the three big success stories of the night. And those shows are doing very, very well today. all looking, strengthening their case to take out the topple best series, the respective best series awards next week. Ryan, did you have a thought with comedy guest actor? Where do you think that's going to?
Oh yeah, I'm just going with John Mulaney since his episode was so acclaimed, and like you said, he can do no wrong. He upset last year, but yeah, I think there are a number of paths for other contenders in the category, like Adam Sandler or Luke Kirby. I guess I'd be pretty surprised if anyone won beyond those three. Our next award is choreography for a scripted program, which is a new award. And it's also one that is juried. So there have been deliberations already, and the winner was previously announced. So we already know that it's Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
So this Crazy Ex-Girlfriend actually moves up to 3 on the...
No, we actually accounted for this yesterday.
Oh, we counted yesterday. Yeah. We're all over it here.
Just one more thing with that guest actor category. Doesn't De Niro winning feel like such an Emmys move?
Yeah.
No, it's 2 minutes per episode.
Yeah, and it's just the opening sketch of the Sandra Oh episode that he's in as Mueller, and he's just literally with a straight face just reading a letter. That is all it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We probably should pick him.
It is interesting. Like, that's just a sort of cold open 2-minute performance, which is really, in some sense, Michael McKean's in Better Call Saul was similar, like a bit longer. It was about a 5-minute cold open performance. But at least with Michael McKean, there was just some nuance and depth, and it was building on a character that had already been established. So it's not always like, just being in the cold open or 5 minutes means you don't deserve to win. But Robert De Niro, I think, would be a sort of head scratcher.
Yeah. And the other one we haven't mentioned, Matt Damon, he had a solid episode.
Yeah. A solid run of episodes too.
What? Imagine if Matt Damon won. Imagine Jimmy Kimmel and Matt Damon winning an Emmy in the same year.
But they had to be at different ceremonies. That was the only condition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who knows?
Yeah. Oh, how great would that have been if it was the same night? That would have been fantastic. Well, if Matt Damon wins, he'll probably present next week.
Yes.
Yeah. Most likely, yeah. Usually the tradition is they have the comedy guest performers present the directing award for comedy, and the same with the drama performers.
And Jimmy Kimmel is nominated next week. So we could have a Matt Damon, Jimmy Kimmel interaction if Matt Damon's able to win this.
Make it happen, Matt.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very hard to influence the votes now. Interesting. After production design, after comedy guest actor, we move to production design.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a narrative contemporary program. Nominees there are Escape at Dannemora, The Handmaid's Tale, Killing Eve, Ozark, and The Umbrella Academy.
The Handmaid's Tale has won the last 2 years. Last year, it was even double nominated. So I assume that it'll win again. This was the only Guild Award that it won for the second season. So it really has the production designers in its corner. And this is yet another race where we could have multiple winners, although that has not happened tonight, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
No.
What? Here's just a quick question. Like, what category for the costumes was Handmaid's Tale nominated in?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it in the fantasy sci-fi category?
Yeah, I think it was.
And here it's in the contemporary production design category. I guess because it's the sci-fi. There's no sci-fi production design.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think the Umbrella Academy would also fit in with that kind of thing as well.
Okay, fair enough. They're probably not a huge outrage or anything like that. It wasn't in the contemporary category before, and now it is. But I guess it's set in the future rather than a period or fantasy, and there's no sort of futuristic category, so they just have to go with contemporary.
They do actually have slightly different cutoffs in terms of period versus contemporary. One of them uses 20 years, one of them uses 25, one of them uses the calendar year, one of them uses the Emmy calendar. Of course, none of this applies to the handmade sale.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on that comedy guest actor award. Can John Mulaney or Adam Sandler win? Can someone upset? We'll find out very soon. Any good comments in the chat room? Anyone sending through, or at least on the YouTube comments or anything?
Here we go.
Yeah, Matt Damon should have won comedy guest actor a long time ago for Will and Grace. There you go.
We're 30 Rock.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, why are these Emmys televised? I really appreciate work, Sucker. Oh, well, thank you very much, DQuery.
yes.
They are televised in a week's time.
They combine the two ceremonies together and air it as one thing, and I believe it's still on FXX. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yes.
So you can, if you're wanting to watch some of the speeches, they do an edited down version that is aired next week. But this is the place if you want to hear them when they're actually happening. It's very, you don't really want to spend a whole week not knowing Emmy winners and sort of having to avoid spoilers and things. So here's the place to find all that. And hopefully we can have a bit more fun than an award show where it's taken up with a lot of speeches and can be a bit more relaxed. And hope it's a fun couple of hours with us watching awards. Yes, have we got the
So after production design, we are back in the sound categories, going with sound mixing for a limited series. Oh, do we have a winner in that one?
I don't think so.
Okay, I thought one of you was saying that we did. Okay. Nominees there are Chernobyl, Deadwood the Movie, Fosse Verdon, True Detective, and When They See Us.
Yeah, so I would expect Chernobyl to continue its tech sweep in this category.
And sound is a very important element of this miniseries.
The explosions, the beeping, and the buzzing of everything in those the rooms of the nuclear power plant. Yeah, it's
Could Fosse Verdon upset?
Sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's sort of the one I'd go with if Chernobyl didn't win, but I agree, Chernobyl.
I feel like this is one that also could go to When They See Us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's specifically for part 4 of When They See Us, the finale of it.
Yeah. Some great, it's almost like When They See Us, I'm trying to remember it now, but some great moments of silence there where sound's used quite powerfully.
When he's in solitary. Yeah.
And then we've got sound mixing for a comedy or drama. Who are the nominees there?
Nominees there are Barry, The Kaminsky Method, Modern Family, Russian Doll, and Veep.
I think this could be the Barry gets his second win here, maybe.
Yeah, they did win last year. Modern Family won several times. It has done exceptionally well with the Guild for this achievement.
Is it the Ron Lilly episode as well here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the sound there is fantastic.
Yeah, Kaminsky Method is nominated for the pilot episode. Modern Family, A Year of Birthdays. Russian Doll is up for The Way Out, and Veep is up for the finale.
Do we have a comedy guest actor winner?
Yes.
Chat room is saying, but
I'm waiting for confirmation on Twitter.
Let me see here. I'm looking mainly at the Gold Derby account. Let me just check.
I'm refreshing.
And oh wow, okay. We do have a winner. Luke Kirby has won for playing Lenny Bruce in comedy guest actor. Very good performance. This actually makes me very happy.
Yeah, I think it's a great performance too.
It's a very worthy win.
And we're moving Marvel's Maisel. It's up with Chernobyl now. Now we know Chernobyl is maybe about to win win another award. But yeah, Moses Maisel winning Luca, great performance, and I actually agree. I'm sort of happy with this because I'm not a big fan of the Saturday Night Live performances being nominated here and compete, and I'm always going to be more inclined to, if I was voting, vote for a performance that's sort of a character that's built over the course of a couple of episodes or something like that, rather than or has this one character rather than someone who plays a lot of different characters in sketches. That's just me. Plenty of Saturday Night Live hosts have won this category, so voters disagree with me. But so I always like it when that and such a great character, such a great performance.
It's always interesting to see, when vote splitting will play a part in this, because I think we've had 4 performers nominated in SNL before, and they've lost. I can't remember if we've had that many before, but this is going to be something that it's going to be interesting to see what, how will we see a similar thing with supporting actress in a drama series with those 4 Game of Thrones women.
Yeah.
I wonder if SNL is a little weak in directing. Like last week tonight, picking up technical direction last night for, like it is just a guy sitting at a desk. Not a lot of moving parts. And if SNL is, showing weakness in categories like this, I wonder if maybe they're a bit shaky.
I thought they might be, but I thought that the one that would benefit from that would be Documentary Now, until beginning last night when we saw those wins for last week tonight.
Yeah, it's a shame because Documentary Now this year has been beautifully directed. And
we also have a winner for production design, contemporary 1 hour, and it goes to The Handmaid's Tale,
which it's a second win of the night, so it now gets on the board. Yeah. Second win, right? This one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't miss one.
Yeah,
I know it has one too. Just make sure I didn't miss one in there.
Matt, can you remind me what Fleabag is at?
Fleabag? Is it a 2 or 3 Fleabag?
I think it's 2.
Okay.
I've got it at 2.
Yeah, it won casting, and what was the other one it won for?
Editing, I guess.
Hold on. I know it was early in the evening.
I think won the first award, or one of the first awards of the night.
Single camera picture editing for a comedy series.
Because casting and editing, I feel is still a very strong combination. As many awards as The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is winning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But yeah, in a moment, probably when we wrap up this show, we'll talk a bit about what this all means for next week. But yeah, it is interesting that Maisel has done so well. Does this mean it's on track to win best comedy series, or is it is it not as big a deal?
I think that's what actually the interesting category to look at based on tonight's results is going to be comedy directing. I think that's going to be an interesting category to look at. Because I know a lot of people had Barry for Ronnie Lilly up there, but one of those Maisel episodes could very well. They do have 2, right?
Yes, they've got Catskills and All Alone.
And I think that Catskills episode is going to be a very, very, very big threat to win.
Amy Sherman Palladino directed one, and Daniel Palladino directed the other one.
After we do those, after we finish the sound mixing categories, we have makeup for a movie or limited series prosthetic. Who are the nominees there?
Nominees there are American Horror Story, Apocalypse, Chernobyl, Fosse Verdon, Game of Thrones, and Star Trek Discovery.
Okay.
I'm not sure why this race is at this point in the ceremony.
I'll be right back, you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, why didn't they just put this with the other makeup categories?
Yeah, it seems isolated.
Yeah.
Is there a name? Is there an Oscar-winning makeup artist that's nominated?
Maybe.
Yeah. Now, will you be bringing out your makeup bag, Matt?
Yeah, I don't know, just one category. Then we're moving on to drama guests very quickly. I know, but I'll have a look. I'll see if there's anything good there. Anything good.
This makeup race is different than the other ones in that this one we have the opportunity for multiple winners. Based on how the night's been going, I would say that Chernobyl is going to upset Game of Thrones for this one. Game of Thrones usually wins, but it does not always. It has even lost to American Horror Story under the new system.
There you go. Look, I've got some makeup for. Is this? Don't know if this is prosthetic or non-prosthetic. It doesn't say. So
it's gorgeous, a bit. Really, God.
Here we go. Oh, boy, oh boy.
Beautiful.
So
quite a night so far, I must say.
2 sound mixing and 1 makeup category, and then we get to the final award of the night, the 49th Emmy that's going to be handed out this evening. Drama Guest Actress.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, so who are you thinking, Matt? Oh,
just wait.
Go ahead.
We've got sound mixing for a limited series has gone to Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.
Yep.
There you go.
And so that moves it up to 7?
Yeah, it moves it up to 7 wins. Masters is Mace on 6, so now it's ahead of Maisel and Game of Thrones on 10.
I was only expecting When They See Us to win 1 award tonight, casting, which it did, but I was not expecting Chernobyl to do nearly this well.
Yeah. Nah, Chernobyl's really I was going to say blowing up, but I'm not sure about this. Like, I don't know what the statute is like, whether that's too soon or not. Who are the guest actress drama contenders?
I got them here. We have Jessica Lange in American Horror Story Apocalypse. Therese Van Houten for Game of Thrones. Cicely Tyson in How to Get Away with Murder. Laverne Cox for Orange is the New Black. Cherry Jones in The Handmaid's Tale, and Felicia Rashad for This Is Us.
What do we think?
I don't think Rashad has ever won an Emmy, has she?
No, she's never won. We also do have a winner in sound mixing comedy drama.
Oh, who is it, Charlie?
It's Barry.
Barry's done it. Barry's won its 2nd Emmy.
He's on the board.
He's on the board. So I'll whack him on in a minute. Great season. The 2nd season of Barry was fantastic.
It was so good. But yeah, Felicia Rashad has never won an Emmy throughout her career. Not for The Cosby Show, not for Raisin in the Sun. So, this is some overdue stuff right here.
Way overdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. People in the chat room are apparently going to be quite upset if Sherry Jones wins for a very short performance.
Well, she won for similar a similar type of performance in supporting actress in a drama in 2009 when she won for 24 out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
I mean, she was in a lot more of that one.
Yeah.
She definitely would have won in 2010, but she withheld her name from consideration. So I guess now she feels like maybe it's time for another Emmy. She has gotten 2 nominations for the 2nd season of The Handmaid's Tale now. I'm not sure if she's going to win, given the small amount of material that she had, but I am curious if next year, if she can be our first person to get double nominated in guest since the Academy has allowed for that possibility, as she is currently recurring on Succession.
It depends on how many episodes she's also in Succession.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good in those episodes. I finally, today I just caught up on it. And, she was great in last week's episode.
Yes, and we've got I'll show you the board with Barry now on. I know there's some big Barry fans at Gold Derby. There you go, Barry on 2, up with Handmaid's Tale and Fleabag, all on 2 today. So that's fantastic. So still just waiting for that makeup winner, then the guest actress winner. I can't remember who I predicted for guest actress in a drama series. So I'll look that up now. And
I have Felicia Rashad, but part of me also would not be surprised if Laverne Cox were to win.
And why is that?
This is her 3rd nomination, right?
I think so.
Around about that.
Yeah.
And I just think like she's someone who just, has, it's not regularly, but she has gotten in before. And I think I just like her. And also, there might be a certain part of the voting body that might like, what this, might like what this win might say, the statement of the win as well.
It's true. That is true.
So prosthetic makeup has gone to Star Trek Discovery. So that's another loss for Game of Thrones that it was expected to win, although it obviously has picked up tons.
So Game of Thrones has done very well tonight, but on percentage of wins, it's not doing as well as State of the Union. There's 3 from 3. So it's not on 100%.
I think the wild card in the drama actress category may be Van Houten. Game of Thrones may have that momentum to carry her through, and she's the only actress in this category who, except for Rashad, everyone else has been around, played this game many times before, and Jones, Tyson, Cox, and Lang. She's a fresh face in a very popular show. It's a possibility. I still think it's going to be Rashad, but we shall see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think you'd also just should watch out for Jessica Lange. She's a 2-time Oscar winner. Has just a threat. Yeah, so just always keep your eye on her.
And she's upset for American Horror Story before, correct?
Yeah. Season 3, yeah. She won season lead actress mini or movie for season 3, Coven.
Yeah.
Who did she beat out for that?
Who was favorite to win that year? Wasn't there a big heavy hitter that she's on? Don't worry. Don't worry.
We have a question from the chat room. JB Legend is asking, hasn't This Is Us won a guest Emmy every season so far? And yes, it has won for all 2 prior seasons. So
Gerald McRaney won.
And Ron Cephas-Jones won last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's won a guest actor, not actress award every year. So this category is still untapped.
I would love to see Chris Van Houten win. I thought that was a great guest performance.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Key, great. Yeah, a good arc throughout the whole course of that episode. It's The Long Night, which has done very well tonight. I think, let me just try to get this right, because Gold Derby tweeted about this. Mm-hmm. That the Game of Thrones has won 5 Emmys for The Long Night alone, which is 1 away from tying the all-time record for a single episode. So that was when they were at 10. Oh, they're still at 10. So, yeah, so The Long Night. 5 Emmys for that episode. That's what she submitted. I don't know. Do we count acting submissions when they... Yeah.
What's the record holder? What's the record holder?
I don't know. It doesn't actually.
Is it Whitecaps from The Sopranos?
No, for a while it was the pilot of Boardwalk Empire.
Okay.
It depends how you count some categories. But Battle of the Bastards also won a lot. I'd have to check specifically for numbers.
Yeah. And let me just see.
And I looked up that ceremony, Matt. I think probably the favorite that year was Cicely Tyson for Trip to Bountiful, because she had won a Tony Award for doing that on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I think also Sarah Paulson with her performance for Coven.
Yeah, that year they were Yes. Okay. Joyce tweeted about 12 minutes ago. This is the third time since 2009 that SNL has not won at least one of the comedy guest acting categories. And it wasn't eligible in those categories before 2009. So that's a pretty...
So we do have winner number 49 for the night, and that's Cherry Jones for...
Wow.
Whoa! There you go.
So The Handmaid's Tale now has a perfect record in this category. And what is that? 6 acting Emmys overall, I think, for 2 seasons?
Well, let the fireworks begin online.
Yes.
There was only one last year, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that'd be 5, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So
no, because they got 3 the first year, right?
Yeah. Oh, what was that? I missed that.
Go. The scoreboard, the Emmy tally, final for tonight. Game of Thrones on 10. Chernobyl reached Free Solo. They both have 7. Marvelous vs. Maisel on 6. Handmaid's Tale, Foss Verdon on 3. Saturday Night Live was not able to add to its total from last night. And number 2, on 2, Fleabag and Barry. So that is the state of the race, staring down the barrel of next week's Primetime Emmy as the chat room explodes with both sets of guest actors went to Handmaids and Maisel. So good observation from Roadshell 1.
And this was Felicia Rashad's 4th Emmy nomination, and now her 4th loss.
There you go. I'm just looking at the Gold Derby editor predictions. I don't think anyone predicted Sherry Jones to win. Though as Riley says, with Handmaid's Tale winning that category every season, maybe we were sleeping on it.
Yeah, I mean, I started the season with Cherry Jones in first place because I figured that she would get a lot more material in the 3rd season that was airing, and people would vote for her the same way they voted for Bradley Whitford. That didn't end up happening, though, so I took her out.
Yeah, so there you go. Great night. So sort of a good night for Handmaid's Tale, Barry, and Fleabag, but a great night for Game of Thrones, Chernobyl, and the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Thoughts? What's our big? We'll start with big takeaway for the night, and then we'll talk about looking forward to next week's Emmy Awards. What's a big takeaway, Charles?
I think what's going to be really interesting to look at is, and I was partially brought this up earlier, but I think the directing categories at next week's primetime ceremony are going to be really interesting to look at, especially with even in drama where, you would normally think, okay, yeah, Game of Thrones will probably win it. But in its directing category, there are 3 episodes. There is one that you would normally think would stand out. But, some of these wins for The Handmaid's Tale tonight kind of makes me think, could that pop through? Could that pop through possibly somehow? And also, I think the conventional wisdom for movie limited series was that even though Chernobyl would probably win writing, When They See Us would pick up directing, but the tech haul from Chernobyl tonight actually makes me think that could be that could very well go to it as well. I still think When They See Us will probably pick up the limited series award, but now it's a bit more uncertain. And of course, now with Maisel in the directing category, I have no idea what to do.
Yeah. What do you think, Tom? What was your big thoughts of tonight?
Comedy series is going to be much more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I know that Veep only had a few possibilities tonight. Nothing came through. Barry was good. Fleabag was surprising. I did not think it might be a tech player, but it we got 2 there. But Maisel, my God, with 6. Now, granted, Maisel has a strength in tech that these don't. But that was a very impressive performance tonight, and I don't know whether it's going to bleed into the acting awards, but I think that Maisel stands a good shot at going all the way. We shall see. I'm not predicting it, but tonight was very impressive.
Riley?
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by the directing categories, like Charlie. Also because last night, I think one of the most inexplicable wins was Springsteen on Broadway in directing. I can't wrap my mind around that, so I wonder how many more tricks they have up their sleeves.
Yeah, and it's probably worth pointing out that, like, unlike the Oscars, where branches vote for nominations, but then the whole membership votes in each category, at the Emmys, the branches vote for the nominees and the branches vote for the winners. So it means that if directors love Bruce Springsteen, and other branches don't really care for him, it means Bruce Springsteen can win Best Directing because the other branches aren't weighing in on that category. So it does mean that, and which is why to a degree sweeps like what Game of Thrones is sort of, well, I guess it hasn't swept because it hasn't won everything, but when it wins a lot is quite impressive because it means multiple branches are all independently making the decision to check that off. It's not that just actors are the biggest branch and they love Game of Thrones, so they're just voting for it and everything. So that's really impressive.
Members of every branch can vote on Best Drama Series.
Yes. So for Best Series Awards, they can all vote. You are an Emmy voter, Tom.
I am indeed.
You're in the writers branch.
Yes, I am. So I get to write. Most of the technical stuff last night and tonight I didn't have a part in. But next Sunday, look out. I did. I don't know.
Here's a question, Tom. How often does your writing, the show you vote for writing, how often does that mirror what you vote for in series?
Rarely.
Okay.
Yeah. I tend to seek out smaller nominees because I always think there's a reason why this episode, which is not part of a juggernaut of a big series, got nominated. So I tend to gravitate towards those in the writing category. But when I vote for series, I look at the overall season of that show, and sometimes they match, but more often than not.
Okay, that's interesting. I thought tonight, there's not like one particular win which I'm so happy with the winner, but there's some great work that's been acknowledged tonight. Some of those technical components of Game of Thrones were done so well this season. The sound in Barry was fantastic. Particularly that Ron Lily episode, just the way that sound came together was just magic, and so it's wonderful to see that acknowledged. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, there's been some great work, and even though I probably would have voted Peter McNichol, but Luke Kirby gives such a great performance, and that's such a layered and interesting character. So it's wonderful to see him win for that show. And the first male actor to win for Mrs. Maisel. They won 2 acting awards last year, but they're both in female categories.
True.
So
and if Luke wins, that'd be good.
I also noticed that so for the guest acting categories, both the drama ones went to the same show, and both the comedy ones went to the same show. Has that happened before?
Ooh.
I know it doesn't mean anything for the future. What's that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Really good question.
Yeah,
I could see.
Yeah, someone should research that.
I could see it. Yeah, I could see SNL doing it, perhaps. But
I know SNL did it 2 years ago with Melissa McCarthy and Dave Chappelle, but the drama ones were split between Cheryl McCraney for This Is Us and Alexis Bledel for The Handmaid's Tale.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's a good. Anyone shoot us a comment if anyone's noticed. Anyone has an answer to that question. I love Tonight because I love I love actors and writing and directing, but I also love the sort of sound and set design and costumes and things. So it's great to see that stuff get acknowledged and to get to talk about what show had the best sets and what show had the best costumes and what show had the best makeup. But looking forward to next week, what is the state of the race? Like, is it just Game of Thrones, Chernobyl, and Marvel's Mrs. Maisel win the 3 big series awards? Is it done and dusted?
No, I don't. I don't think. Certainly in limited series, I think that When They See Us is going to be a major player.
Mm. And When They See
I think
Us,
it'll at least pick up 1 acting award.
Yeah,
quite possibly 2.
And Where They See Us was at its strongest at the Emmys with nominations was acting. And if that wins Best Series, it's going to be the acting branch that gets it over the line. So a lot of those branches, like the Chernobyl one, was where Chernobyl was most strong. So now I think when you add up all these tech branches, it's probably more than the actors branch. I'm not saying that, but I think that's going to be a really interesting race. And I wouldn't be tricked into thinking Chernobyl has it in the bag just because it won so many tonight, because it's really next week is When They See Us is.
Yeah, I'm concerned about Chernobyl too, or When They See Us, because casting is really the award that it most deserve to win out of all these. Yeah. So as much as casting will sometimes go to Game of Thrones for no good reason at all, they do variably award, Stranger Things over The Handmaid's Tale to recognize the achievement in casting, all these unknown faces and young faces. So normally casting lines up with the series winner. This could be one of the exceptions where they were actually voting for best casting.
Yeah. And I often think, like, I sometimes describe the creative arts ceremonies as a bit of fool's gold for the main night, because I think just because a show has a good run tonight does not mean, there's the, Stranger Things had a fantastic year a couple of nights ago. A lot of people then, a couple of years ago, a couple of people, including myself, were like, oh, better pick Stranger Things for drama series now. And it just had a horrible night compared to The Handmaid's Tale, which sort of picked up nearly everything that night at the primetime ceremony. Boardwalk Empire one year had an incredible year, and everyone thought, oh, it almost took over West Wing's record for most wins in a single season. And people were like, oh, maybe Boardwalk Empire is now going to win Best Drama Series. Maybe it's not going to be Mad Men or Bad or whatever the series was that year.
Go on.
And then it just won directing, which Martin Scorsese was expected to, and nothing else that night.
I think one thing that's going to be also interesting to keep an eye out for is how many does Game of Thrones win next week? Because if it's at 10 for this for tonight, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so it's at 10. If it wins series, directing, and writing, that will tie it, I believe, for the most Emmys won by a program in a year. When John Adams did it back in 2008. Yeah. They won 13.
Yeah. And if Dinklage wins, that puts it over.
And if it wins any of those acting awards, along with those 3, it will have the standalone record for most wins of any series or program for a single year. Yeah.
For the much talked about final season of Game of Thrones, the biggest Emmy-winning season of all time. So this is interesting. Looking forward to next week. So Game of Thrones is eligible in how many categories? It's support
series, writing, directing, and the 4 acting categories. So it's eligible in all the drama categories, which is 7.
So it is eligible in 7 more categories that would take it up to 17.
Yes.
If it won everything, if it completely switched, that is the ceiling for the Emmys next week. 17 is the absolute top. I think, like, people think it's probably gonna look good for directing and drama series now.
And Dinklage, I think, is ahead also.
In which one?
Dinklage.
Dinklage. So yeah, it'll probably take it like so. You know, if you were to sort of make an estimate, you'd say like sort of 3 to get on that 13 is probably very well in its sights. It does have to contend with votes splitting in most of its categories, though.
Yeah.
So that could undo it. How many categories is Mrs. Maisel eligible for next week?
I think all the comedy except lead actor and writing.
Yeah.
So that'd be 5.
That's 5.
So that could go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could take it up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is where Mrs. Maisel. So if Game of Thrones wins nothing and Mrs. Maisel wins everything, Mrs. Maisel overtakes it. So that just shows you how good a position Game of Thrones is going into next week in terms of getting the most wins for next week's Emmy. Yeah,
and Chernobyl is eligible in all the limited categories except for lead actress.
Yes. So that is
6.
Yeah, I'm just making sure in my head there's the same number of categories for limited. So that could be out to 6. So that could take it up to 13.
Yes.
So I won't go all out there, but that's got 6 more. So that's in a good position as well to do well. And that I guess if Game of Thrones has a poor night, only wins 1 or 2, and Chernobyl sweeps the board, Chernobyl could be the number 1 sort of show for the year. Obviously, if shows sort of down here in the mix, you've got your Barrys. Barry is eligible in all but one of the categories, I believe.
All except lead actress.
Yeah.
So that would be 6.
So that's 6. So that would take it up to 8. So that's where Barry could get if it won everything. So if Mrs. Maisel has a horrible night, only wins 1, Barry sweeps the board. Barry ends up being the biggest comedy winner of the night. Probably unlikely Barry wins supporting actress. Maybe it's probably might be difficult between directing and writing. So maybe Barry sort of 6 is sort of achievable, 6 or 7 sort of achievable for Barry. Fleabag, that could win. How many could Fleabag win?
It's eligible.
5 maybe.
Series, writing, directing, lead actress, and supporting actress.
Yeah, so that's 5. So that could go up to 7 if it won everything. Again, not. It's very unlikely any of these shows will win everything they're nominated for. We're just looking at what the various ceilings are, who can climb, who can sort of overtake who next week.
Saturday Night Live could also add, I think 4 as well, possibly. Variety, sketch, writing and directing, and supporting actress.
So there, SNL could potentially get to where Free Solo is and where Chernobyl is currently. So some pretty we've got some real gaps here. There's not there's bunching up down here. Will Fleabag or Barry have more Emmys? Well, they're tied now. So I'll have to just see who can take out more, if any, next week. Veep, which is a 3-time returning comedy series winner, which hasn't won anything so far, is eligible only in
Series,
1, 2,
directing,
3, 4.
Lead actress, supporting actor, supporting actress. So 5.
5 awards for Veep. So that's Veep's ceiling is here. So even if Veep won everything and Miss Maisel lost everything next week, it still ends up 1 less than the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Did any other shows nominated for drama series win tonight other than Game of Thrones?
Succession got title theme.
That's right.
That was actually my favorite win of the night.
Yes.
It's a good
That was a really good point. There's no other drama series on the board.
Well, there's The Handmaid's Tale, but that one is ineligible.
Which is ineligible for best drama series. Yeah, you're right. So,
yeah.
It could get writing and directing.
Can anything beat Game of Thrones next week? Look at this gap.
In which category?
How much more it has to go.
Game of Thrones is guaranteed to get to 11 just because of series. Once you get down to the individual achievement categories, I think there's a little bit of leeway.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that Game of Thrones lose best drama series though?
No.
1%.
1%.
1%. Give it at least something, because with these things, anything is possible. But I do still find it highly unlikely.
Yeah, I looked at the other nominees and I said, if not Game of Thrones, ooh.
Exactly.
Like Game of Thrones didn't win everything tonight, but where it lost, it was to Chernobyl and it was to The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It wasn't to other dramas other than The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah.
And the only other dramas that that picked up Emmys was something that is ineligible for the drama series category.
Yeah.
So is there any chance that there are? And I'm just trying to play it out. We love I'm not trying to argue against Game of Thrones. Just saying what is the path
you're playing devil's advocate, and it's understandable.
What is the path to it losing? Is it that people love the technical achievement?
I think if DB Weiss and David Benioff, deface the lawns of every single Academy voter, then it might lose.
No, but voting's over.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So maybe they did do that. Maybe they created a string of serial lawn defacings or something. I don't know.
The argument
Tom,
against
how is your lawn? Is it okay?
Oh, I haven't checked.
Oh God! For the love of God, check.
Oh.
The only way Game of Thrones loses is if the only narrative around Game of Thrones losing would be the people loved the show, they loved everything, but they didn't think it was the best show of the year. So they voted for it in the individual achievement categories, and then they voted for something else to win Best Drama Series because they thought what is it, the parts are greater than the sum or whatever that saying. I think Tom hit the nail on the head with why that is very unlikely and why we're ranking it so low is because there isn't that one show for voters to coalesce around that. So even if a lot of voters ticked a different show because they're like, not really feeling it with Game of Thrones, I don't think it's the best series of the year. I'll vote for it for art direction. I'll vote for it for visual effects, but I don't want to vote for it for best series. That vote is split amongst a number of shows.
Yeah. You know what I might rank second? I might put Bodyguard second because Bodyguard did not compete tonight. It's nominated in writing, and it's on Netflix. It's hugely popular. We have a lot of niche shows nominated in drama series this year.
No way is Bodyguard.
You say that.
But it didn't get Richard Madden nominated, for God's sake.
I think I think there's an argument for second between two shows. I think it is Killing Eve because of Phoebe Waller-Bridge has done so well in comedy and drama races. I think that Killing Eve is a show with buzz, with acclaim. It would be a cool show to vote for. There's some goodwill towards the crowd. I think that is it. And I think the other one is Better Call Saul, which is the overdue candidate, which has consistently scored the same number of nominations every year. I'd say they're the two shows, and there's that would be fighting out for second place.
Yeah, Killing Eve. I don't know how it lost editing and casting and could have a hope at winning next week. But Better Call Saul, that could still pick up writing.
Yeah. And I would also consider Succession because it's airing now.
Okay.
And and people have really dialed into that show right now.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I would put it after those other two, but I think Succession is in the mix. Well, sort of in the mix, not really, because Game of Thrones is so far ahead. But if we lived in a world without Game of Thrones,
okay,
I think we'd be having a pretty interesting discussion about Better Call Saul versus Killing Eve versus Succession.
I would feel better. I would feel better. Thinking about Succession like that if it had gotten at least one acting award. Or at least one acting nomination, but it couldn't even do that, and that just not even Brian Cox, who is a past Emmy winner.
Yeah.
I really hope I really hope the 5th season of Better Call Saul is great and is able to make a tilt at winning. Although it's going to be a struggle against The Handmaid's Tale.
Bob Odenkirk says that it's their best season.
Great, it's really good. And look, season 5 is the season. Game of Thrones won for their 5th season. Sopranos won for their 5th season. 24 won for their 5th season. Breaking Bad won for their 5th season the first time. Actually, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Riley, I think since the year 2000, or since the year 1999, every drama series winner has either won for their 1st season, won for their 5th season, or been a repeat winner. Yeah.
Well, I
So
mean,
there you go.
we're not going to feel the absence of Game of Thrones because next year drama series is going to be a car wreck.
A good one, though.
A good one, though. I mean, you've got The Crown, you've got Handmaid.
There's a lot of smashing, but no one got injured.
That's true.
And I think The Crown. I think if I was to put money on next year's drama series winner, I'd say The Crown. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Comedy series, Mrs. Maisel, is it now in an unstoppable position?
No, and I'm not going to predict The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Okay,
I'm going to go with,
let's explain why.
I'm going to go with Fleabag. Like I said, casting and editing are very important awards. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it did pick up many awards, but in categories that are less correlative with the Comedy Series Award. You don't often see, the Best Costume winner being the automatic frontrunner for Best Comedy Series. What concerns me about Fleabag, I was hoping to be more confident about it by this time, is that in editing, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel had vote splitting. And in casting, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel was coming in with its 2nd season already having won last year. Whereas Fleabag is, even though it is technically for its 2nd season, it's basically competing as a new show. So I can see how voters would appreciate the casting of that show more this year than The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which has already won the award. So I'm not sure if these 2 awards that Fleabag won over The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel were on a level playing field.
Do you think that those are the only 2 ones seriously in the hunt for comedy series, or do you think that possibly Barry or Veep could maybe still pick that up?
I think Barry is still in the hunt, but I think that Veep died with its low nomination haul.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. I'm with Riley in terms of I don't think Maisel's going to win, but I think it will be Barry because at least out here in California, people are talking about Barry at cocktail parties in a way that would indicate to me that they may not be Emmy voters, but it has really tapped into something in the 2nd season. And I suspect it'll do quite well. Certainly the number of supporting actor nominations this year with 3 indicates a kind of a deep bench in the actors branch, and that's an important branch.
And the Sarah Goldberg nomination too.
Yes, I mean that was I was surprised, happy but surprised. Yeah,
Barry's in a very similar position to Now They See Us, in a sense of like it didn't do as well as one of its big contenders tonight, but it did very well with acting nominations and seems to have a lot of support from that actors branch, getting actors in that some people may have not predicted, like Sarah. And I think because of that, you wouldn't want to write off Barry because of it not performing as well as Maisel tonight. That being said, I think Maisel's looking very strong after tonight. And the thing, like Maisel won last year Best Comedy Series, and we know how much they like repeat winners in this category.
I mean, I'm predicting Maisel, but it still is so jarring to me that it could not get in for writing. That just because that is a show that is, it's beautifully directed too, but I mean, that is the trademark of Amy Sherman Palladino, is her writing style and the dialogue. And I thought the writing on season 2 was very much on par with what it was in season 1. And it just was so jarring that she didn't get in for that. And part of me is wondering, is that like a telltale sign?
Maybe. I mean, it's the defending champion in that category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is interesting because usually after a win, you strengthen, you solidify. You don't. Yeah, so that's interesting. But I do think don't discount Maisel. I don't think you're discounting it. Like 30 Rock wins 3 in a row. Modern Family wins 5 in a row. Veep wins 3 in a row. Miss Maisel is it, especially with a good haul tonight, or is it like The Handmaid's Tale, which I believe last year didn't do too well. Game of Thrones did very well with the Tech Awards last year as well. But I feel
I think it won 3 last year at Creative Arts.
Yeah. But after a winning Handmaid's Tale did, got some acting wins and stuff last year. We got an acting win last year at the Creative Arts with IS, still looking quite good, and completely struck out at the main ceremony. So,
yeah, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, like its first season won more Emmys than any first season of a comedy ever. Then its second season won more Guild Awards than any season of a comedy ever. And that's the one that's actually in contention at the Emmys now. I think I'll keep it in third just because of that writing snub. I feel like there are hotter shows right now. And Barry, it didn't win that many tonight, but the excuses that I was making for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel's losses, I can kind of apply to Barry as well, where it had multiple episodes in editing, and for casting, it's coming in as a second-year show.
Yeah. But you're still sticking with Fleabag, Riley?
Yeah, which I switched to earlier tonight.
Yeah, because one casting. Yeah.
Kind of. Well,
sorry if there was a tone that sounded skeptical. That's
yeah, no. I mean, there are other good reasons to go for it. It's the talk of the town, supposedly, and it's it's coming off of TCA sweep, so it's very hot. It's very acclaimed. I got more nominations than anyone expected for it.
When did those episodes drop on Amazon again for Fleabag, the second season?
April, maybe.
April is. I mean, that if it does pull out comedy series, which I think is a very strong possibility. I don't know if we've ever seen a show, drop a season out of nowhere, kind of, and then just rock it all the way to the Emmys.
Like The Handmaid's Tale kind of did that. Could you count that? Or
okay, yeah, I guess.
Okay. I mean, FYI, Fleabag got my vote for writing.
There you go.
Yep.
I think Fleabag's looking really good in the writing category.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's looking very strong. I think Fleabag, there's a compelling case we made for it, but I do wonder if it's going to come a bit short to like
Maybe
Barry or Mrs. Maisel, which are more probably established Academy shows. But it's not an absurd prediction at all. What about Veep? There's a lot of is there any chance Maisel and Barry and maybe Fleabag split the votes enough that Veep can take it out?
I think that people really don't care about Veep anymore. I think there's a perception that Veep is going to be awarded for its final season, but I feel like it's kind of the Glenn Close of this race, where everybody has that idea where, oh yeah, it'll win because it's going to win. But when the voters actually sit down with their ballots, they don't actually care about, awarding this show because they're feeling nostalgic or anything. It came up way short in nominations. It missed categories where it would repeatedly get several nominations, like editing and directing. And tonight at the Creative Arts,
which I think was quite telling.
Yeah, tonight at the Creative Arts, it was shut out. And the last time it competed at the Creative Arts, it won casting, it won production design, it won cinematography. So this is kind of territory that Veep has not been in for several years since it was the last time it had this kind of haul. It wasn't winning comedy series.
And it couldn't even break into double digits with its nominations. I mean, the first couple of years of the show, it really wasn't breaking through. And I think it wasn't. I think it didn't get into double digits until the first year it won comedy series, if I'm remembering that correctly. And I just think that, if it can't do that, and then it got, I think, what was the last time it got, 17 or 18 nominations?
Yeah,
The fact that it couldn't even break into double digits and it went down so far, and Maisel went up. Barry went from 11 to 17, which is ridiculous. And, Fleabag went from 0 for its first season to 11 for its second season.
Yes.
Yeah. So it may just be Julia, and that's it.
Yeah, it could. And
but even that one is not a certainty.
I would say she's not a certainty. Well, I don't think she's ever. I think since early on in the run she's been a complete certainty. But I do think she's the Emmys aren't particularly nostalgic. And
we're a hard bunch.
I think she's got it in the bag. I think she's the front runner. She's who I'm predicting. But I think the one thing Veep has going for it is that being a 3-time winner, it'll probably get some votes, and something that it is different to the last couple of times in the race was there was a clearer 2-horse race. It was Atlanta or Veep. It was Transparent or Veep. I think the second time they won, there maybe wasn't as much of a competition that year. But this year, there's not the clear front runner. We've got compelling cases for Maisel, Barry, and Fleabag, and that means Veep would need probably less votes to win than it's had in the past. And I tend to be someone who doesn't ever like to count out an Emmy contender that has won its last 3 or 4 wins, attempts. But I think you've made very good cases as to why it's not the front runner this year. And it's currently my prediction, partly because Veep's currently my prediction, partly because I haven't decided on Maisel or Barry yet, and I'm sort of just leaving that as the placeholder, and I'll probably be changing my prediction late this week. But we'll see.
Interesting, though, that the 4 of us have 4 different series.
Yes. I'll probably be agreeing with one of you 3 later this week, I imagine. I'm going to see which argument of my most compelling. At the moment, I'm probably leaning towards Maisel. Probably got Maisel, Barry, Fleabag. But yeah, no, I look, if Veep wins, I will not be shocked.
I will be.
And
I'll be shocked.
Shocked. Yeah.
Shocked.
So
shocked.
There we go. I think we've broken. Anything else we want to need to talk about before we wrap up the show?
A movie, because if Black Mirror wins, I think we get onto the board. For some reason, they're putting movie in the main telecast this year, even though the movies have no other nominations in all the other categories that they're presenting. Mm-hmm. The consensus frontrunner is Deadwood because it has so many other nominations, but Deadwood actually hasn't won anything, and it was snubbed in kind of all the key races. Yeah. So I guess I kind of view Black Mirror as the Veep. I don't know, maybe that's too far reach of an analogy, but I don't think it really needs to have that much support with all of the weak competition.
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe Black Mirror might take this out. I hope Deadwood wins. I love that series, and I like the movie, and so it would be really great for Deadwood to be an Emmy-winning movie. But
especially with what's happened with the creator of that show.
What's sorry?
Especially with what happened with the creator of that show, his health problems.
Yeah,
he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just. It was bad enough that he didn't get into writing. If he doesn't win this, it's going to be just it's going to seem very sad.
Yeah. So hopefully he wins, but I think Black Mirror is a real threat, partly because Black Mirror has won the last 2 years, and even though I don't think Bandersnatch was well received as their past winning outings, it definitely was something that was talked about.
If Deadwood does win, that might be the first of 3 times that we see executive producer Carolyn Strauss on the stage, because she's also behind Chernobyl and Game of Thrones.
There you go. Could be a great night for her.
He's gonna have a good night.
The James Corden of Emmy.
What are you guys going with for a limited series?
For what?
For a limited series, what are you going with?
Oh boy.
When They See Us.
I think When They See Us.
I still think that even if it had lost casting, I would probably have switched. But the fact casting was the only thing I think, and it didn't have that many nominations tonight. I think it had like 5 or something.
No, and its strength is in writing and directing, and
the performances.
Noble's going to win writing. The direction of it is so strong, and the performances are so good. And I think that's next broadcast that it's really going to shine.
Yeah, but I fear more for it in the directing category after the strong tech haul from Chernobyl.
Yeah,
that causes concern for me. But I still think overall, because I think Netflix has also been very shrewd with how they've campaigned for this, and the what's the word I'm looking for? The blatant parallels to today that When They See Us has, I think is going to work out well for it in the end.
I don't know. I'm finding this one very difficult. I can see they both are such compelling. They're so compelling, both of the series, and they both, I think, resonate so well with today. Yeah, it's just one's Netflix, one's HBO as well. It's what a race.
It's a great lineup. The five are as good as almost anything you'll see in the theaters this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Oh, well. Any last thoughts or comments or anything? Anything going on about the chat room?
We got some very angry comments from Christy about Cherry Jones winning just because she was only in 2 minutes of her episode. And I guess that's kind of a trend in that category now. Where minutes as either, then you have a very good shot at winning. So that's unfortunate. There should be some kind of a panel or something that checks these.
Yeah,
they should have RuPaul judge which ones are worthy.
Yeah. Oh well, thanks so much, guys, for talking about the Emmy Awards, and thanks to everyone who's been watching this and sending through your comments. And we hope it was fun and informative to get to see the winners breakdown. It's always sort of different than all the other award shows where we all go watch them on TV and come back and chat about them. It's nice that we can sort of be a part of one sort of together. And so thanks everyone. Gold Derby, you don't want to be going away from it this week with the Primetime Emmy Awards next Sunday night. We'll get the cherries next year. Don't you worry, JB Legend. So next week, goldderby.com. There'll be articles, there'll be analysis, there'll be go into the forums, chat about who you think's going to win, make your predictions. I know I'm going to be on there quite a bit this week, changing things around, moving Veep out, moving Maisel up, figuring out Chernobyl or When They See Us, moving them back and forward all week. So goldderby.com, at Gold Derby's the Twitter handle. Thanks so much for watching, and thanks to Charles, Riley, Tom, Joyce, and Jacob, and the biggest thanks probably to Chris and who have been sending us the winners. So I've actually had people to tell it. We've been able to announce who's won the show. So thanks so much.
That's great.